BS Section 96. What happens at TACCOM doesn't stay at TACCOM because Toronto is not Vegas.
This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS, ballistically speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.
It sounded like you said, welcome to BS section.
I may have read.
And I don't know if you were referring sex or section. SEC or SEX?
SEC.
SEC.
The eyeballs move faster than the mouth does.
That's okay.
It happens to the best of us.
It makes for good conversation.
Some people say that.
Mm-hmm. So Nancy's joining us already, and Kurt's not even here. Kurt's out in the middle of nowhere in Youngstown, Alberta, at King of 2 Miles. He's joined us back from his trailer.
I forgot to pay my bill.
You said you're just on Wi-Fi, or are you on cellular?
No, on Wi-Fi, the camp Wi-Fi here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so we got as close to the central camp facility as we could get, where the Wi-Fi is housed, and I don't know, it seemed to be pretty good all day until we're set to go live. So
until right now.
Yeah, I spoke too soon. I tempted fate.
That's okay.
It's because everyone at the campground's also watching the show.
Yeah,
that's just
right.
Messing with the audio.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
That's why it kicked you out just as we were going live, because everyone else joined on. Yeah. Hey, I got a question for everybody before we get started tonight. Before we get too far into everything else, you guys think we're going to see a fall election or a spring election, or is this shit going to roll on until next October?
We're going to wait till pension.
Yeah.
The second Jagmeet gets that pension, we will go into election.
You could be right, but I think the pension's supposed to be like February of this year. He should qualify or something.
Spring election.
Spring. I could handle a spring election. Fall election would be nicer.
I got a case of beer on a spring election.
Yeah.
However, I think we're set to pay out the entire term of penance for collectively being so fucking stupid to vote those stupid sons of bitches in, not once, not twice, but thrice.
I didn't vote for him.
No, but collectively we all are Canada.
2019,
2021.
Yeah, so
God help us. Put that pinky finger down. We don't need one more. Don't. Yeah, exactly. Break that sucker off. No, I don't think we could be so fortunate given the recent history, the data that we've gathered about let's just say, I'd like to call it the mental health problem of this country.
It's the true mental health crisis, isn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Yeah.
So I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but I'm already being shit talked in the comments. It's nice to see Alberta Rob. He says, "Good evening, fine sirs and Chris."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. You just have that aura. It's your aura.
Singled out.
I'm singled out.
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't have a hat on.
It's kind of a clandestine to bring bullying back again campaign.
I'm okay with it.
Chris, you can be a leader in this.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yes.
I can teach everybody how to take shit and swallow it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay.
Not literal shit, Derek. Come on, stay with us.
Derek's not on board with my analogy.
Yeah. I just think it could have been more spoken.
Better.
More
Full of people that take things literally in the
More
world.
spoken or better.
Next time you analogize, you speak better, okay?
Yes.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Oh, Lord.
Why are
Talk
we
about
here
something
tonight?
We should talk about something interesting.
Okay.
Maybe
should.
there was an
Um,
event the last weekend.
maybe there is
that
an
we should
event.
talk about. There was an event. I
Bet
was
there
there. I
was.
survived.
Did you get the T-shirt?
No, but I got this awesome patch that's right there. I'll go get it.
What's that one?
I got it. Mike, you're too slow.
Like he doesn't know his headphones
he's
are
off
off. Too late. He's gonna sit down. He's gonna go. Oh shit!
That one.
As soon as right now he's
He
looking
You're
did
at
too.
supposed to have.
That's
we,
it.
we said we'd have the freebies ready to go. You're not prepared.
that was a good.
Is that a
throw, though.
vinyl patch?
It is.
It is a yes. It's nice and textured.
That's actually
The
pretty
patch
sexy.
panel official TACCOM 2024, and it was for the great price of free.
Free
So-
with entry
Oh, did you get a couple of
to the
spares?
first 1,000 people, I
Mhm.
believe.
Well, my first question is, where the fuck is mine?
You had to be there.
It's just like, fuck you. you didn't
Semantics.
go.
Really? Like, if Chris and I had gone, knowing that there were
We would have
two
got
other
you guys like
members on
two
our team,
pair
we'd have
each.
been like, hey, we're a team. Either you
Mhm.
give us nothing or you give us all patches.
Just
We're a
let your junior employees have their vacation.
I guess
at
you're
this
not
point,
old enough to immediately go to, let me speak to your manager.
I'll go full Karen.
At this point, I'd like to point out that I still have 2 hats and a T-shirt for Rooster from the Apex
Right.
match back in whenever the hell that was.
Mm.
I haven't given them to him yet, but I sure got them for him.
You sure did. We have seen each other in person a total of, I dropped by your office once about 3 weeks ago to talk some business and replenish my knife supply, my storied knives supply. And then once, what the hell was that? Oh, yeah, Wednesday night when I was in
For
a
all of 5 minutes.
bit of a panic. Yeah.
You were in
right.
such a panic that you
me
couldn't
your
even
shit,
wait
I
for
gotta
me to go downstairs, put a bunch of 6.5 Creedmoor brass in a Ziploc and hand it to you.
It's on a tight schedule.
Tight schedule.
Clock's ticking. Tight.
Because, there was a lot of stuff to see at TACCOM this year. We were kind of more focused on that.
I like how we went on our tangent, and then Mike was just like, "Fuck you guys, I'm bringing this
Right
back."
back at it. Yeah.
There are things we need to talk about.
How
Okay,
dare
let's
you
go.
interrupt our
I
tangents?
think you should also caveat. The show wasn't not as big as it was. However, if you were inquisitive enough to go looking for things, there was lots to see. So
Like, if you just went and cut a lap, you'd say, oh, the show's smaller. But if you went and actually stopped in a booth, you'd be there for 2 hours.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if you have less booths, but the booths that are there are not the same old shit as the same collection of 12 different Lee Enfield rifles that you've seen for the last 7 years in a row, then that seems like a good thing to me.
Oh, yeah, no, the quality of the booths was outstanding. Yeah. Because, like, we
I have
could get
one
into
question.
some of the ones. Go ahead.
Yes.
One immediate question before we get into the meat and potatoes. Somewhat related, but I'll feel free to kind of be vague about it. Does pox mean the same as hex?
I
Does
believe
what?
that's Shakespearean for a curse.
So, yes. Okay,
Sure.
I just wanted to clear that up before we get to that point later on in the show.
Yeah. Kurt is reading the show notes that I wrote, and I am not allowed to write them anymore, apparently.
Oh, no, I never said anything of the sort. All right, should we get into, unless you guys did it while I was trying to get back online, the sponsor stuff?
Let's pay some bills.
Oh, I forgot all about
All right.
bills.
You know what? I'm going start. We are brought to you by, listen, wait a second, I got to go up. BS session number 96 is brought to you tonight by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta, building Canada's finest precision rifles. Find Shane and Steve on Facebook, Instagram, and on their website at emprifles.ca.
And we are also brought to you by Bolt Action Coffee, bringing specialty coffee to the precision shooting world. Order coffee and merchandise at boltactioncoffee.com. Next.
We're also brought to you by Call Sign 66, Canada's best rifle training. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Book a course now at callsign66.ca and follow them on Instagram at callsign66 and on Facebook at C/S66.
The one time
Nailed
that I
it.
tried not to take up all the air in the room and Derek was waiting for me.
No kidding, hey?
We're also brought to you by Odell Engineering. Pick up a Canuck shotgun or a Bergara rifle, or now a Canuck lever action rifle from your local distributor and tell them Phil sent you. Look them up on Instagram, Flakebook, and on their website, odellengineeringltd.com. They got so many different types of TM22s, it'll make your friggin' head spin. And like we just mentioned, check out the new Canuck Wrangler in 357 Magnum, which is absolutely bitchin'. I didn't get the same chance that you guys got to play with one of those, but I hear that they got really smooth action. Is that accurate?
Also, the stock on the tactical. First off, the tactical one's the best one. I don't care. Frankly, a lot of people have said that, folks. I also say that the tactical one's the best.
I agree with the TM22 also. Like the TM22 lever, I 100% would go with the tactical one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a Henry or you know, one of the legacy brands, it has to be a modern tactical one. That's just the only way it is.
But stay tuned, because there's some very interesting, more traditional ones that are coming.
Oh, really?
Oh, you dirty tease.
Are they going to make an EN44 Magnum?
I don't know.
I would
We're going to have to ask Phil if he's going to make an EN44 Magnum.
Okay.
Why are we doing this?
I don't
question.
I don't know.
Who's next?
Oh, yeah. Who is that? It's
Okay,
Rooster again.
I just have one thing before I carry on to the Apex Optics line. 357 Mag, did I see 38 Special offer as well in the Wranglers?
Well, as far as I understand it, the only difference between 357 and 38 Special is the powder
Sure,
load,
it's the
isn't
length.
it? Is the length different too? I thought it was just the powder
case
load.
was shorter.
Oh, maybe it is. Okay.
They're very much so
57?
cross-compatible.
Is a Magnum 38.
Mhm.
Right.
That's it. They fit in the same
Yes.
chamber.
So it is a longer overall.
Slightly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Overall
38
length.
fits in
if you-
357. 357 doesn't fit in 38.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
357
It's the same as
maximum
44
chamber
Special
will
and
shoot
44
all
Mag.
three.
Yeah, 556, 223.
Mm-hmm.
All those things.
Ish.
Carry on.
Apex, Kurt.
All right, moving on. We also have an Apex Optics. When you buy Apex, precision comes standard. Check out all the fine competition rifle scopes, red dots, and binoculars at apexoptics.co. The red dots have arrived. Get yours today. Those red dots are the Atom and the Fusion. Don't ask me to explain the difference between the two. One is smaller, and they're both kind of neat. Look them up. for
Fusion has a
yourself.
few more options with
apexoptics.ca.
reticle sizes and is a little bit physically larger.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike?
All right.
Yeah,
Next,
Mike's
we
just
are
he's showing
brought to-
off the Atom, and he's not doing his next ad read.
Oh, I'm going to do it. Because we are brought to you by Ripstone Gunsmithing. Can I finish? Craftsmanship done right. Contact Oscar, ripstonegunsmithing.ca, and breathe life back into any firearm.
Can I
We're
finish?
also brought to you by.
Oh, geez, right into it. Like, I
Derek
was going
was
to
on point
apologize
that
for my delay.
He was 100% on point.
Hold on.
We just fucking
First-
interrupted him. Okay,
There we
Derek,
go. Got that finished. We're also brought to you by the Shooting Edge in Calgary, Alberta. home of the Sterling Arms R18, Mark III soon to be, and R9, and indoor range, training courses, a new 6-lane axe throwing bay, and the One Shot One Spill Cafe. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and on their website, theshootingedge.com.
And finally, March Scopes Canada. The Dion Optical Design line of rifle scopes has a scope for all of your hunting and shooting needs. Find Doug and Nisa at marchscopes.ca.
That went well.
What are you smirking at? Oh, you're
This
smirking
one.
at Rob's leave erection comment?
Oh, not even. I'm not even gonna hide it.
I gotta be honest with you. I think that those Canuck levers are really, really cool, but I will personally own one when they have one in 44.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we start with that? I got some photos. I'll queue up.
That looks really nice, right?
That is the nickel and I'd say the gray laminate. I think this is called the Jurassic, is what it's called.
Because
And
it looks like the Winchester that Buddy carried around in Jurassic Park.
yes,
Chris Pratt.
yes.
Clever girl.
So
no, I mean the original one. Didn't that special forces guy who is the head of security? He got eaten by the Velociraptors. Didn't he also carry one?
Mm.
I
I thought in the original movie he carried one. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. The guy, clever girl, that guy. You remember him? No? Nobody? Bueller?
Bueller.
Keep her
Kurt,
rolling.
come
here.
on. Oh, Kurt
And
crashed. Fuck. I was like, he's old enough. He should be able to back me up. Okay, carry on. Chris Pratt.
So we have the Canuck Wrangler, and this again is the Jurassic. So this is the nickel and gray laminate finish. You have a nice side loading gate, which everybody loves. Also, say the nice fiber optic front sight, and you can't see it in this photo, but the barrel is actually threaded. So if you want to get funky with the muzzle device, it's available. I'd say the sights are quite new. Like the finish is quite nice. The plating, quite nice. And then we have the original.
You know, my question is just, sorry to interrupt. I'm wondering if any furniture from any other of the other brands out there will fit on these rifles.
I want to say it's maybe the Rossi R92 stuff might fit.
Do you think so?
Mm-hmm.
They look very
just looking at it, it kind of looks designed more after the Winchester. Just looking at the angle of the buttstock, and like, if you guys, am I out to lunch on that, or are you guys getting the same vibe?
I'm not knowledgeable enough to say, but I'm going to nod in agreement.
I see it, but I don't see it at the same time because it's Canuck, it's new.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It might just be they're completely their own design too.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to.
I have to say, for a traditional
Phil or
type,
one of the boys on.
For sure. I was gonna say I have to say that for a traditional type, like we were talking about the tactical stuff before, which I'm warming up to more and more all the time. But this one you have pictured right now. Honestly, it is kind of it's making me a bit moist right now. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Well, there's as if you look at our videos, of course, Bill did say there are more traditional types coming soon. Now, what that means exactly, again, is open to interpretation. So stay tuned.
Age bracket, I'm kind of straddling a fine line there, right? So it's I've got enough traditional blood in me, and yet I'm some of the stuff that the kids are running nowadays sort of appeals to me too.
You want a race gun lever action? That's what you want. A Mad Pig Customs.
Here we go.
Very much.
So I do like that. Like
that is the Canuck Wrangler Tactical.
Yeah,
it's got all the things.
That is 100%. Along with the Canuck Engage, those are the two, the shotgun and the rifle, that you want when the world ends.
With
like
they just look
this is
guns.
Instead of a straight grip, though, I would prefer like a semi pistol.
On a lever gun? How do you even do that?
You can put a curve to it, more like the Savage,
Sure.
like 300 Savages.
Well, but
I
you
guess
look at the 336 Marlins, right?
Mm-hmm. But it would have to be
That kind of
manufactured
thing.
that way.
Is that what you call a semi? Yeah.
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 So I'm
The
thinking
lever
the
itself
angle
would
of
have
the
to be a little
dangle
bit
on
different,
the
but
on the
anyway,
lever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do we-
Mhm,
on
that is
one
pretty
note,
sexy,
I will
though.
say, so if you look at the tactical, it does have the Picatinny rail on top.
Mhm.
However, all of them come with the Picatinny rail, but it's a choice for you to put it on.
Oh.
So if you
Huh.
want to
It's a
run,
bad choice if you take it off.
so if you want to put a red dot, like a nice Apex Atom, let's just say,
Or
on
Or
top of your
fusion.
lever
Fusion
gun,
would be better on there.
but you still want that nickel look.
Yeah.
It already comes with a Picatinny rail, so you're good to go. It's just not attached. It just has the ye old iron sights on it. So
It's funny that
We talk about the
that
price on
grayish
these?
one.
yeah,
Okay, so what's your guesses?
I think
Roughly.
that they were well, I think I know what they were, so I'll let everyone else guess.
I mean, I have the number in front of me.
Mhm.
Oh, is that the safety?
Yes.
that is a firing pin safety,
Oh, nice.
and on
Sick.
all models. So nice and accessible, nice and safe for your new users, old users, and all users alike.
And it's
So
Okay, now there's
nice and
not
accessible.
actually a half cock safety on it. That's just the lock band in the way of the hammer, right? Because the hammer doesn't look all the way closed there.
No, they were all trigger locked or cable locked.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not that
Like
there's a
half
half cock
cock.
safety on it. That's just how they were locked up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so of course this is after many hundreds of people fondling them and
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
them, et cetera, et cetera.
Everybody
So,
pulling the hammer back and messing around.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with $929 for the tactical, and $844.76 for the others.
And you would be right if it weren't for all the inflation that the government has caused. The Wrangler with the 16-inch
11.59
barrel
isn't it?
is $11.49. The Jurassic Wrangler with the 18.5-inch barrel is $11.99. And the Wrangler Blackout with the 16.5-inch barrel comes in at a sporty $12.99.
So according to the Beer Dork, which is a great fucking name, by the way. Oh,
Yeah.
we passed. Oh, good. We're past 5 minutes. I can swear. He says Bullseye North has the classic for $10.99, tactical $12.49, and the Jurassic at $11.49.
The beer dork just wanted to be anarchist and get in there before we actually spit out what we thought the prices were. So
Yeah, he just wanted to drop a dime.
that. Yeah, Jesus, great name.
But really,
You know,
if you went and bought one of those lever guns and then paid to get all the tack parts added to it, that's a way better deal. Just buy it outright like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think the Midwest rail is like $400 $400 bucks.
well, I was just gonna
just for
say
that rail.
Midwest stuff. Yeah, like if you bought everything to outfit whatever lever.
I don't even know where
It's,
you'd get that stock, but
Yeah. It's
anyways.
pricey.
Well, and that's still, several $100s cheaper than your typical, Henry or whatever, right?
Sure.
So I think
Any
that's a
lever.
good price.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, some nice features too. That side loading gate, everybody loves that. Comes with the pick rail. Nice
You can mount
sights
a
on it.
flashlight on it for a bit of weight for
Threaded
recoil
barrel.
absorption.
So I think it's a good offering.
Yeah, like I'm just looking up firearms outlet, a Henry all weather. This is in 3030, but they're listing it at $1,600. That's a 410. There's a Henry Big Boy in 44 Magnum for $1,400. compare same caliber here. So a Henry Big Boy steel carbine with the side gate, 357 Magnum, 16.5-inch barrel, $1,500, $14,999.95. So I think that coming in at that like $1,100 mark, I think that's smart. And here, compare the nickel. Here's a Henry Big Boy all weather. That's the nickel. This one's in 44 mag. It's $1,800.
Yeah.
And 44 is expensive.
Well, it is.
357 is cheaper. You're saving two ways.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look at here's the all-weather 4570. It's $2,000.
Yeah, but it's 4570.
Well, I mean, but there's a lot of people that like them in 4570. They have this weird nostalgia thing about them. I'll be honest with you. I want 44 Magnum because Kurt wants a 4570.
No, you need 4570.
I want 44 Magnum because I have a Smith & Wesson Model 29. So, I've already got reloading dies and powder and primers and casings and everything for 44 Magnum. So I just want.
What one bad decision deserves another?
It's a Smith & Wesson 29-2, my friend. It's a $5,000 handgun, dude.
And you bought it because of Dirty Harold. Yes, we know.
No, actually, I didn't buy it.
All the attitude you need to see in 124
I know, right?
period, right?
But I get emotional about it because it's the handgun my dad used to carry when we were camping up in the Yukon when I was a kid for bears. So I'm all emotionally connected to it. Don't shit talk my handgun, Mike.
I'm kind of with one.
I love you, Daddy. Here. Sorry, what?
He says, I said, I'm kind of with 1AB in a sense. He says, top eject, thumbs down. In a way, yes, but these rifles, excuse me, sorry.
You having trouble there, Grandpa?
Yeah, I'm getting all clamped and stuff. These are not necessarily the rifles as chambered that you're going to use a scope on necessarily. They're they're quick handling, open sight, or red dot type of proposition, I would say. So a top eject is not as big a problem, at least in my mind, in that use case. Now, if you're going to go to something with a little more range, and you'd want to put a scope on it, sure. An angle eject, I think, would serve the purpose much better that way. Anyway,
but I think to do that, you've got to be going with like the new Henry Long Ranger or like a Browning BLR or something like that. In my opinion, like something in a high caliber cartridge.
High caliber, yes. Does anybody
moving on?
You're really having trouble, Kurt.
Oh yeah.
All right, what do we want to move on to? Actually, you know what? I'll show a photo and we'll start it off that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said moving on, but you didn't move on. Hey, that looks like a crypto to me.
So that is the lower for the crypto, and you can see basically their method, obviously, of differentiating the receiver is those two front pins, and then I'll show the photo in which we can really see essentially the mating. So you got that front lug that matches those two pins. So that does actually look like a really solid connection.
It does.
There's some beef there, and of course you can see the hole where the rear pin will pass.
I was going to say there's still a post for a rear takedown, which is good.
Yes.
See, to me, this screams great big effing cartridge for the AR platform. Like 450.
I have to agree.
350 Legend, 458. If you want to build something big and thumping, this is the receiver. Because it's essentially a recoil lug. That's a lot of surface area. That'll hold up.
Here's an interesting point made by 1AB, and we're seeing this in a couple of these new iterations. So his question, steel pins into aluminum. I assume that means that he's kind of questioning the decision to put steel pins into aluminum. I think if you're under if you're over the shear weight of the aluminum, then the aluminum's going to shear. If you're under the shear weight of the aluminum, I don't think it's going to matter that much if you've got steel dowel pins into the aluminum. I'm not a metallurgist. Maybe Kurt will have a bit of a better opinion on that than I would.
Yeah, I'm failing to see where the problem is. I mean, it's done all the time in other applications. 1AB comes back with a comment about wear. Where would you see wear? Really, because all it is takedown. Like, it's takedown and reassembly, right? Otherwise, they remain static. I mean, if you're going to the range and firing 50 to 100 rounds and you completely take the thing apart every time, and you do this 3 times a week for over the course of 3 years, and you're a little bit careless about it, maybe it's an issue. But and not being condescending, I don't see the problem necessarily. And it's not like there's a heat application where there's different expansion ratio between aluminum and steel. That shouldn't be affected. I mean, unless you get things crazy hot. But even so, with the application of the rear pin should keep everything in place laterally, or fore and aft, whatever you want to say. I'm not.
Yeah, AB Rob chimes in. Biggest concern to me would be the pin lower fit. Possibility of gavnate corrosion, but anodizing would probably minimize it.
Yeah.
I would agree, but also as a heavy duty mechanic, so I deal with a lot of Allison automatic transmissions, and nearly every single transmission housing now is aluminum, and there are steel pins in that aluminum housing, and some exposed
especially
to a
if you
lot
go
of
with
heat.
A harder pin, that
a hardened
corrosion is like almost eliminated.
And those pins are coated too. It's not like just bare metal.
I'm not worried. And also, if you think about the physics of it, those are really just more so for locating and matching. They're not really going to see a lot of lateral side to side stress. It's that lug that's going to be taking the force of the recoil. And that's where most of your force is going to be exhibited, is that lug to the front edge of the lower where the pins are.
There's certainly no shear moment in it.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. All AR-15, like typical AR-15s, it's always aluminum with steel pivot and takedown pins.
Yeah, just in a different
configuration, but
right. And instead of being north-south and acting as like an indexing dowel, they're side to side, so they're actually potentially they would actually be taking a shear force, but these are just being used for indexing. I don't think that they would actually take any load, because you've got go back one more photo. It was more apparent there. So you've got a flat rectangular call it a addition on the upper, and it butts right up against a flat rectangular spot on the lower, and any forward to back motion or stress is going to be imparted on those two parts, which are both aluminum. And like you said, Kurt, there's really not any side to side force
or
to be to speak of.
And if you look in this photo, you can see where the pins go into. There's a nice long stretch of aluminum before it goes into that little I don't know what you'd call that slot. So it's backing into a lot of material, that force. So it does look pretty stout.
Yeah, really,
it's a fair bit of machining in that. Compared to a standard lower, because they've had to make sure that front face is located properly according to that rear pin. Otherwise, that whole setup does not work. Plus another setup to locate those pins.
Can we talk about the most contentious part of this whole crypto deal?
Well, the status of it, the legal status, you mean, or the potential future legal status?
Oh no, that's not an issue.
It's the magazine. Yeah. I don't know why they decided to honeycomb the center of it. I don't even want that sticking out of my rifle.
Because I was, these are very well built. Like they're glass reinforced.
Yeah.
Plastic. You also get what 6 of them when you buy the rifle.
6. Yeah.
6 of
4
these,
with
so
the
you get
receiver.
12 megs. And that is quite generous, frankly.
Also, these fit in everything you have at home.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing else will fit into the crypto lower, which is the point of it, because as the law stands right now, that's what the law is. So they made it to the law.
Now, you guys have seen this. Is it these channels along the side of it that prevent them from, that would prevent a standard magazine from fitting?
Yeah, there's channels in the lower, so basically they pinch in. So the PMAG won't fit, but these will.
Kurt keeps pressing the button.
Get off the button!
Oh, sorry.
No, it wasn't you, it was me.
What?
Kurt dropped and he tried to come back into the show in the background. And I saw him come back in. So I pressed add to stage and I kept pressing the button to add him to the stage as soon as he was pressing the button. So he kept going in and out. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No worries.
We're derailing you again. Carry on.
Because I seen a lot of people complaining like, that's dumb. I have to buy new magazines with them. Hear me out. I have a 1022. Mm-hmm. Those magazines don't fit in this. Therefore, is it dumb because it doesn't take my 1022 mags? No. There's thousands of platforms that use different magazines.
Yeah.
There's a guy with 35 carburetors in his shed complaining that they don't come with carburetors anymore, but time moves on.
My biggest concern with this rifle remains what it was several weeks ago when the original announcement was made, and that for me has to do with the potential legal status over the next year or so. It really does seem like there are political winds changing, but all of that has yet to be realized, and even the timeline on it is really suspect. And so I still have those concerns. However, seeing the close-up photos, it looks like they've done a good job with those receivers and everything else on it. I mean, as long as it's all consistently machined to the standard dimensions for everything that you're going to be using it with, I see some real potential with this thing. And let's face it, if we do duck the next, call it 12 months, and all of a sudden, let's say you buy a crypto, it doesn't get, quote, confiscated over the next 12 months. And then let's say 6 months into a new government, they wind everything back. AR-15s are suddenly legal again. And you're sitting here with a crypto that can't take Stanag magazines. Now, this is a double-edged sword because this, and I know that people don't like people talking about this stuff publicly, but I mean, like, anybody who thinks that anyone else isn't thinking about this is kidding themselves. The whatever you want to call it, the channel, the whatever that is interfering with a standard magazine right now, it's 6061 aluminum. It's not going to be hard to remove. You know what I mean?
No.
They did say because Crusader, they had like they were on the stage and they were explaining kind of their thought process behind the rifle, designing it and all that stuff. And they did say that if the mag nonsense goes away, you can send the lower back to them and they will machine it for you.
Yeah.
And send it back to you.
Well, and the reality is you don't really need to have it machined, I would wager that a simple file and 30 to 45 minutes of your time, if you're watching TV while you're doing it, would take care of the same thing. But that gives me more concerns.
That's also illegal. Just for purposes right now.
You're right. To be clear, nobody should do that right now. That is ridiculous.
Speaking in hypotheticals.
I'm talking about if the legal status changes.
Yes.
Yeah. as we're talking about if it became a legal thing. It's not a difficult thing, but the government has always relied on this easily modifiable section in it's not in the Firearms Act. I think it's in the Criminal Code, isn't it? And whether people are actually doing it or not, whether people, if the last 9 years have proven anything to us, it's that it doesn't matter if we follow the law or not. They assume that everybody's a criminal, even if we're not. So it makes me question the legal status of this over the next 12 to 24 months, regardless. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
If it was illegal, they would have kicked crypto's door, or they would have kicked their door in by now.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think the speed of government, I really don't think they would have kicked their door in. I love that Zach Alphabet just joined us in time for you. It's like you must have joined the conversation just as you were saying, don't do anything illegal.
Yes. Yeah,
Hey,
Zach was there. Zach was there as well. It was a good time seeing him.
Oh, so, good. I'm glad you got to see him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mike. I'm kind of like, I know the government sucks. And also another thing is, if you're cranky about the mags, direct your anger to the government and direct that anger into helping change the government the next election. Because it's C21 that made Crusader do that, not Crusader wanting to do that.
Right.
Fair. This is, I think, a legitimate concern on their part to meet the standards that the government has created. And anybody who says, F crypto because of that is, I think, being unfair.
Also, there's no guarantee
Let's
we're
just
getting
add
ARs back
something
on the
into
first
our
day.
There's no guarantee we're getting ARs back on the third year.
Yeah. And that being said, even if we get ARs back, these are non-restricted.
Another fair point.
Yep.
Oh, we got ARs back. You're still stuck on the range. Meanwhile, you can build it out, take all your parts off your AR, and go play in the bush.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's a plus. I'm a fan.
I have to be honest. I'm still not going to be dropping $1,000 on a receiver set, but that's just me.
That's fair.
You can squander your shekels any way you like.
Buying a whole rifle, What's that?
You can squander your shekels any way you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll give credit to Crew Arms for it's a creative way to meet the ridiculous standards that the government has created. And I'll absolutely give them credit for that. And I'll also give them credit for, if we have to make a proprietary mag, at least we're going to give people the equivalent of 12 magazines with it.
Also, the mags are made in Canada. So if you get some bureaucrat at CBSA that wants to hold up every full body magazine for a year because bureaucrats are going to bureaucrat, these are made in Canada, so he can crank out as many as he wants to just start selling them.
Yeah, for sure.
At least we have the option to buy them. They're made domestically.
And I forget what they were, but they were a pretty good price too. Like they weren't too bad. They're available on the website too. So if you want some, 21 compliant mags, they are on the website right now and available. So
I just have one request. Just one. Just one request. Can we please get rid of the honeycomb?
No, I love that.
Oh.
You're not even buying one. What are you worried about?
I feel like you're going to say, okay, boomer.
If you don't like it, fill them with epoxy.
Yeah,
right. That's okay. I'm going to take 6 magazines and fill them all with epoxy.
The JB Weld.
If you're that concerned about it.
And by the way, on Crew Arms website, the crypto magazine is $39.99. That is a very reasonable price. That's
for 2 mags.
Yeah, exactly. For 2 mags. It's cheaper than you get LAR mags for, usually.
And what, that 2 mags plus a mag clamp, or you're flipping them upside down anyways? You're already there.
Right.
And plus, free honeycombing.
Maybe the honeycomb, if it came in like a multicam pattern, would that make it better for you, Chris?
That's a negatory, good buddy.
Okay, hear me out. You make a cover for the honeycomb, and that's where you put your Skittles.
You put your weed in there, man.
It's like your pill dispenser.
Think about it. Exactly.
You know, there's some older folks in the community that can hide all their pills in their magazine.
Yeah, but you know what? Then you'd have to mark the magazine somehow. Otherwise, instead of taking your heart medication magazine, you're going to take your erection magazine. And it's just going to cause all kinds of problems.
Rob brings up a good question here. I'm going to bring this up. Can you separate the mags and put a floor plate on them? No, they are all one unit. They come together.
I'll go back to the photo.
You can cut the honeycomb
together
in half.
So see the
although that is illegally modifying a device too, I'm pretty sure. So don't do that.
Yeah, they're a machine, so they are molded to be that way.
Yeah.
See, they look like they click together, if you know what I'm saying.
But it's not like that, is it?
I don't know if you can take them apart.
See, I didn't steal one and take my pocket screwdriver and start prying, unfortunately. Because apparently they would frown upon that. But as a mechanic who's pried shit apart, you'd probably figure it out. But they didn't have any to sell me, so I could pry at it with my little pocket screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it looks like they could separate from the center body.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it looks like the floor plate. You see where that little button is on each side of the magazine there?
Yes.
Yep.
To me, what I'm seeing is, yes, it clicks in, but each side of the centerpiece is also acting as the floor plate on each magazine.
But it's going to be proprietary anyways.
No, understood. Yeah, completely understood. I'm willing to bet you could probably take it apart and 3D print a different floor plate for it.
Which
I do not believe.
You're coming up with nothing but positives here, and you started this whole section of conversation.
The best part
is such a Donnie Downer attitude.
The best part is that suggestion isn't even illegal.
That's true. Does that constitute modification, though?
Please consult a lawyer before modifying any magazine.
Yeah, absolutely. Before doing anything that Chris ever recommends, consult a lawyer. And by the way, Chris isn't even recommending this. He's just saying it looks like it could be done.
Maybe it's time for Chris to let Eric get to the next one.
Wait, before we move on, Alberta Rob says that Derek is as disappointing as his spelling.
I'm conflicted.
I'm conflicted. Okay, carry on, because who's that handsome son of a bitch in that photo?
There's two handsome sons of bitches, actually.
Oh, yeah, sorry, there's two handsome.
Three.
I forgot about that.
Three.
We have the...
No,
we can't personify the rifle. It's a rifle.
Of course we can.
Fine.
Who doesn't?
Sorry, Derek, go ahead.
So this is the Sterling Arms R18 Mark III, the much anticipated. If you didn't check out our video, well, there's a nice full video on it, and JR really goes into depth about everything you need to know. So if you haven't already, check it out.
And I just completely gun nerd out in that video for like 6 minutes.
Mike let the autism flow. So
Indeed.
This thing in 6mm arc. Ooh my.
So hold on a second.
The charging handle is different.
Yes, so it is a side charging handle.
I like that.
Because AR charging handles are dumb, and I don't care who tells me otherwise. You're wrong for liking AR charging handles.
You're wrong.
Everyone is wrong.
But it looks so much cooler in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, because like, hey, you're up. Like, okay, I reach back, cool, not. Okay, I take it up here and do this and do this. Your hands are already
to me,
up
it seems
here.
like
rip it, look, boom, done. Tangent.
You know what?
I'm gonna agree with Mike on this one.
I concur.
Don't like AR charging handles.
Moving
on. But yeah, that charging handle is loose. It looks like it's loosely based off like a semi-auto shotgun charging handle.
Yeah.
It very well might be.
You know what I like I really like the new bolt carrier. It's got these like vibes of like almost like a Scar, almost like
I think no, I'll add the photo of the bolt carrier. Give me a second.
at least we can
See
see
it
it in
there.
that photo. It's just
But
not
the receiver has strong HK like MR223 vibes because it has the elusive bolt release above the magazine release,
right.
which is such an awesome feature. My hand's
Now
covering
that
in the
is
photo.
is that handguard proprietary?
Yes, but they are going to talk to Black Label and see if they can get a Black Label to fit on it.
That would be really cool. That would be really cool.
It would be. Also, it's going to come with a trigger tech.
Mm-hmm.
Also very hot.
Now, did he say, are they all going to be the flat face trigger or any curved? I imagine they'll just do the one design, hey?
I believe it's the trigger tech duty. Flat face is better anyways. So.
That's a matter of opinion.
It is, and your opinion is wrong if you don't agree with me.
Whoa,
I'm always right, but I will never make you admit it. Anyways, moving on.
Opinions are like assholes. Mike is one.
Yes. Also, the stock.
Hey,
it's got a pick rail on the back.
Yeah.
So you can change that if you like.
Well, and the Mark II was like that as well.
But this one, you can move it up and down. So there's three different positions.
It's like a quick release. Yeah, that was really cool.
Something I noticed in that picture right there, the one before this, and there was another. There's another side profile picture. It looks like the grip on that thing is quite high, like a little bit higher than a lot of other semi-autos I've seen. Yeah.
You think so?
Is that an accurate observation, Mike? Like, did it feel that grip? Like that grip?
No, it feels pretty standard, but it is a rubberized grip.
Okay, so one of the things I've noticed, and for anybody that knows me well enough, knows that I'm not a semi-auto aficionado. I didn't mean to rhyme that, just for if anybody picked that up. But
what happened?
manipulation of the controls with with some of the grip placements on some of these semi-autos is a little bit clunky. I think, and maybe this is just a guess, but kind of a higher grip might facilitate a little bit easier manipulation of those controls. Does that sound as stupid as I think it just did?
I've got a question actually about what you said, because I'm wondering if what you're looking at is an optical illusion, because when I like put my hand over the upper and I look at just the lower, it really does look to me like a regular AR lower, but the upper is still a bit larger and a bit more squared than you would typically expect from an AR. And the just like the Mark II, the pick rail has a good size on it so that you can put really any type of optic that you would want. And I know that was a big thing with the Mark II, because everybody was complaining about the other 180s on the market and not being able to fit certain types of optics on it because the pick rail was too flush low with the receiver. And what I'm wondering is if you're just seeing an optical delusion when you look at them together.
Delusion.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at the beaver tail there, whatever you want to call it, where the crotch of your thumb would wedge into. It just seems a little bit high. For some reason, it looks a little bit higher. And then that one photo where Mike has his hand on it and his fingers across the control, his index finger across the controls. It just seems to me that it's a little bit higher. That's all.
And it might actually be higher.
Completely wrong. Mm-hmm.
You mean like higher than what we're used to seeing from like Canadian 180 rifles? Or
yes.
Yeah. And I think you might be right. And that's what I say when when I'm looking at this again, when I black out the upper, like the Mark II and every other rifle in Canada so far, when you look at the lower, they've been beefier than a standard AR lower. And even the Mark II was beefier than a standard AR lower. And when I look at this, this really does look to me a lot, actually, very similar to just the regular old Aero Precision AR lower that I have sitting in my safe for the last eon.
You know what, Alberta Rob brings up actually a very good point. He says probably the lack of a buffer tube gives that sort of illusion.
Maybe
and that may very well be it.
that could be. Yeah.
You know, the buffer tube would kind of where that pick rail connection is would typically tend to be just a little bit lower.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you suppose?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. That yeah. Good observation. That might be it. Anyway,
But again,
we should probably
rubberized
get past
grip.
this.
It's a good
Yep.
grip. I'm a fan.
One thing to note about the controls too. So, if you look below the brass deflector, that is the bolt release lever,
Mhm.
and then the button just below that, that's your mag release right there.
Mm.
So just noted for the controls. And
They made that sleek.
come with the dust cover. Does come with a dust cover, and then that brass deflector
Right.
is a like an additional piece that is screwed on there. So
I do see something I'm a little bit disappointed in. There's a in terms of marking, there's a pew, a no pew, but no pew pew pew. Marking.
Well, he does need to be able to sell them.
Yes.
That's because people in the 1970s blew
I
it, and we
suppose.
can't own cool stuff anymore.
Yeah, blame all the boomers.
Now,
Well, they
now
were
you
there
go-
when it
now you go
happened.
with the
Who else am I
boomer.
going to blame?
Yeah, fair point. So,
There had to have
and
been a
Rob, I
Trudeau
think,
around
is,
at that fucking time too.
well, there was a Trudeau around at that time, actually.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So Rob, I think correctly is saying the uppers are tall, being piston driven as well, and I think that's also why the uppers look.
Yeah.
It just changes the overall look of the
Agreed.
whole
It
thing.
does.
But I don't think not in a negative way. It's just if you're comparing it to an AR-15, if you'd never seen an AR-15 in your life, you'd be like, "Wow, that's a sleek looking rifle."
These are
It-
the fit and
very
finish
much
on
is.
these things is such high quality.
And that's really been Sterling's big difference. Hey, is they've always really put, like, I've shot or owned most of the other Canadian 180 rifles in this country, and I regularly see like sharp edges, tooling marks inside the mag wells, and all kinds of different things. I've even seen ones that, like, you open up the upper, you take out the bolt carrier, and inside the upper there's tool marks on them. And I haven't seen that for quite a while. We're talking about a Gen 1 MCR I saw that in. But Sterling's has always been like real detail oriented with their finish work.
Yeah.
Another cool thing about these is they're going to publish their barrel specs because their gas block is pinned. That gas block is not going to move.
So there's your gas block there.
thing.
Yeah, so that's not moving, but they're going to publish their barrel specs because, as they said in the video, which I recommend everyone go watch, they are a gun company. They are not a barrel manufacturer. So your gunsmith would be able to pull the specs off Sterling's website and build you a barrel in the caliber of your choosing to work on your new Sterling.
Yeah.
And that caliber better be 6 arc.
Again, I'll never admit I'm
I'm-
wrong, but I'll never demand a rebuttal from you.
I'm just waiting on that big Hornady money.
And also another big thing we should note is the gas system. So in this photo, you can see the op rod and spring kind of sleeve together, and also the gas piston. So this is essentially a self-regulating gas system. So essentially, I think the piston is a piston and a valve essentially. If you look at that tip will actually pass through the front of your gas block, and as soon as it starts moving backwards, it's going to start venting gas.
Yeah.
And then you can see the different diameter changes. As soon as that piston moves past those first two lands, we have another diameter change. So it's essentially going to bleed off the rest of the gas.
So it'll take the gas it needs.
Yes,
and bleed
exactly.
the rest off.
And that piston's not moving very far.
It's it's a very short stroke kind of operation. And I think thing that makes sense to me is essentially also it's carbine linked, so you're getting a good amount of gas. So from whatever ammo you're running, you will have sufficient gas, and it's simply just going to bleed off the excess. So essentially, as soon as it gets enough movement and momentum, it's pure physics. If you can move that block a certain distance in a certain amount of time and has a certain amount of momentum, it's going to move far enough back to obviously unlock, eject, and then the springs will start to close it again and repeat the cycle. So to me, it looks quite solid and kind of foolproof in that way. Is it simply we don't have to worry about overgassing because we're just going to get rid of the gas after a certain point when we don't need it.
And you ain't gonna break that piston.
That's a nice piston, and also being carbine length, you're not dealing with as much barrel whip because that if you look how far away from the barrel nut it is, it's not that far. So even if that barrel is flexing, it's going to be minimal. Obviously, there's a little bit of slop built in to take up that slack. But of course, less length, less bending stress on that rod. Nice stout rod, well-made rod. So it looks pretty solid to me.
I like that. What's funny about this is the Mark II, hands down, had the best gas system in Canada for piston, Canadian rifles. But I like that they didn't, because it would have been very easy to make the Mark III and just be like, well, you know what? The last gas system worked really well. We had, multiple rifles in the tens of thousands of rounds counts, and, the pistons worked great. And so let's just keep the same system. But I like that they are thinking ahead, and they're like, look, it was really stout. It was solid. But there were a couple of things that we need to be concerned about. And it's exactly what you mentioned was barrel whip, because the original prototypes of the Mark II were designed to come with a pencil barrel. And they were finding with their prototypes, this is a little bit of like, I'm spilling the beans a little bit, private conversations that I've had with JR, and I don't think he would be upset with me sharing this with the world, so that's why I am. But with those prototype rifles, they were getting like 6 and 8 MOA. And there was nothing they could do about it. And they realized that with those little thin pencil barrels and that beefy piston that they had at a rifle length, that it was creating, goofy harmonics and barrel whip, and it was affecting the accuracy. So they went back, they had to put not really like a bow barrel on it, but a thicker profile barrel on it to prevent that whip. And then they got that, because these were like 1 MOA rifles for the most part. And that was good enough. And that's what they went to production with. So it worked for the production in 223, and they were chambered 223 Wild, right? But the biggest problem I had when I went to do a 6.5 Grendel conversion is I bought myself a Faxon, what do they call it? Big gunner, I think is the profile that they call it. It's a bit of a thinner profile barrel. Faxon is known for making thinner profile barrels with their whole, proprietary stress relieving system. But it was also a 20-inch barrel because that's all I could get. So now I've got a beefier cartridge with that beefy piston at rifle length on a thinner barrel, and on a barrel that's a full 1.5 inches longer than the 223 barrel. And I think that's why I was having so many problems with different powder loads when I was trying reloads, and different brands of ammunition when I was using factory ammunition, and why I was really struggling to get less than 4 to 5 MOA out of it. And then I had one brand that I was able to get like around 2 MOA out of it. And I think that the major reason for that was you've got that beefy piston, rifle length, long, thin barrel. So bring it all back to the Mark III.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a really good preemptive change on their part.
Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty slick. Another note with this system is this is going to move your balance point backwards as well.
Mhm.
So they did cut weight in that they changed the receiver from a 6000 series of 7075. So a stronger aluminum, so they're able to make it thinner. And also with this gas system change, you're moving that backwards. So overall, just about a pound reduction from the Mark II. But also, I think your center of gravity, your balance point is going to be further back. So your felt weight will be, feel lighter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Question
from Alberta Rob. He's saying, when is JR sending us one for TNT? So, I mean, you guys know that we're transparent about this sort of stuff. We are in talks with Sterling Arms for them to send us one for us to look at. And, the idea is that hopefully all 4 of us will get our hands on them and do a good collaborative review video like we've done in the past with these things. But I'm telling you right now, if that happens, we'll actually be getting 2 of them. And not because JR has promised us 2 of them, but because I'm going to buy one for myself. I've already decided I'm just buying.
Mm-hmm. And me too.
So that we're going to have 3 of them.
Yes.
So basically,
good sample size.
Mike, you're buying one
I can
too?
wrestle over the other one.
I have a gunsmith lined up for my conversion already.
So okay.
Oh my, I don't doubt that.
So this is actually great. So we're going to have 4 rifles that we can do review on, which, let's be honest, that's even better for our viewers. And we're going to buy 3 of the 4 of them for sure. So,
and let's talk about the price of buying one.
Yeah,
the price has been significantly reduced due to eases.
I wanted
in
to get into
manufacturing.
this too. Yeah.
So we were talking so that brass deflector, if you machine that into the aluminum, it's very expensive, and you're wasting a lot of metal just to get that little part on there. If you just screw it into the upper, it's much, much cheaper. So the retail on these Mark III rifles is going to be around $1,800. That's
so
awesome.
Now,
it is.
Can we talk a little bit about the other things that are bringing the cost of it down a bit?
Yep.
I mean, that was one of them.
But. I want to expand on that. Once you get through your thing, Chris, I've been reading on various. Well, okay, if you want, I've been reading on various platforms. Platitudes around this. Now, how do they come down 1/3 in price while upgrading the receiver material to a better grade, and doing all these things, yet landing 1/3 cheaper than the Mark II? I want to know your guys' thoughts, and especially Mike and Derek, because you've had it in your hands. Chris, you've had the opportunity to talk to JR at length about this. I haven't been involved at all. Now, I know some of the things, and from an old machinist perspective, some of them are very obvious to me, but of course I don't know everything. There's a lot of people with a lot of speculation on what went on with the Mark II and its price point, and of course what's gone on now with the Mark III and its price point and material changes and everything else. So maybe we could set some of this stuff to bed for at least some of the people that are watching this on those differences.
Well, that's actually exactly what I was going to talk about. So what I'm going to say, I need to be clear. that this has not come, like the majority of what I'm about to say has not come to me from Sterling. Okay. I'm not spilling any beans. I'm not talking out of school with any of that sort of stuff. JR has publicly said that some of the parts for the Mark III are now being made in Turkey. And I know that some people immediately, that's going to be, Turkey.
Of course.
Listen, dumbass. There's
Canadian
a reason
consumers need to realize the cost of manufacture in Canada.
But it's not just
especially considering the quality that we have seen in some of these firearms manufactured in Canada for the cost of them. To believe that we couldn't get that the same or better quality elsewhere. And I know everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people immediately turn up their noses, as you said, Chris, the thought of something coming from Turkey, and they just immediately dismiss it. Not a good move.
It's just
but like
it is.
The stock and the whole mechanism that's made in Turkey, and unless I told you, you'd have no idea.
True.
Well, the reality is, guys, that Turkey has been making high-end firearms
for high-end manufacturers,
firearms, and low-end firearms for decades.
Yeah.
There is a
they don't discriminate.
Very well-established and developed manufacturing industry in the country of Turkey, and you will
100%.
get what you want to get out of that country. There is a reason that CZ has an entire division in Turkey.
Same with Winchester.
Well played, sir.
Like
nobody shotguns are made in Turkey.
Yeah, well, CZ shotguns. Like, how many people own
it's
CZ?
Huglu. It's Huglu.
Is it
fair? Okay.
Yeah, but Huglu is CZ shotguns.
That's right. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? But do you think that CZ is manufacturing in Turkey because they make the garbage products that CZ is known for? It's just a dumb.
They want to jeopardize their integrity. Their good name.
Well, and let's not forget the Durya Mark 12 was one of the top 3-gun shotguns in this country up until it was caught up by the Ordering Council. And Durya is a Turkish gun. The Durya TM22 is very widely accepted around the country right now as one of the most solid and reliable semi-automatic 22s that you can get right now. In fact, almost overbuilt. You know what I mean? So let's just like cool our jets on the whole Turkey thing. And if you don't like firearms made in Turkey, let's just at least acknowledge that that's an ideological opinion and has nothing to do with the quality that comes out of that country. Okay.
Yeah. Change your panties.
Yeah. And you know what? If you don't want to buy something that comes out of Turkey because they have some questionable ties and their government and etc. Okay, well that's a personal choice, and I'm not going to fault anyone for that. The same as I don't fault the people who won't buy anything made out of China.
It's the wonders of free market.
That's the wonders of free market, exactly.
Also, another thing, pretty much all the other semi-autos at the show are at that price point, give or take. So how do you think the other ones are made for the same price?
Exactly.
That's my question. It's like, well, they're all about the same price now. Therefore, they have to have roughly the same manufacturing cost.
Were they not?
Yeah.
Canik, yep. Gerson and Canik.
Yep. 1AB, Gerson,
so here's the Turkish Walther.
Here's the part where I have to say that this information did not come to me by Sterling. This information came to me by other industry professionals within Canada. Okay, so I'm not like, I don't want anybody being like, oh, Sterling says this. No, Chris says this. This is not reflective of the opinion of the other 3 people on this show. This is my opinion based on my private conversations with multiple people in the industry of Canada.
Also, I will caveat there. Actually, I did see earlier today, there is a post. I didn't verify it, but there is a screenshot from Canadian Gun Nuts in which JR actually chimes in on this exact thing. and he fully discloses that he has been working with a Turkish company in order to produce this along with the R9.
He's been public.
He's been quite transparent, but he also, like, again, he says is, we are also doing things on our end.
Mhm.
Like, it's not because there's obviously
my caveat doesn't have to do with Turkey.
Mhm.
My caveat and the information is, and I'll just quit setting it up and I'll just fucking say it. The Canadian manufacturing industry, when it comes to firearms, is, my opinion, based on this information that I've had, not good. For example, and I don't mean that like everybody's putting out shit. I mean, it is hell for Canadian manufacturers to get things manufactured in this country.
Oh, yes.
Guns are not other things than guns as well, too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
To manufacture a full firearm yourself in-house, complete start to finish, would cost millions upon millions of dollars in equipment to set up, and not to mention millions upon millions of dollars in operating costs annually to be able to train staff, hire staff. It is a massive undertaking to do a firearm from start to finish. So therefore, all gun companies in Canada must rely on third-party manufacturing to get their firearms made. We're talking everything from the barrel, like having to talk with IBI or somebody else, to the triggers, having to talk to Trigger Tech or somebody else, to the receivers, the gas systems, the blah, 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 blah. They can design everything in-house. Nobody in Canada has the manufacturing chops or the millions of dollars that it would take to manufacture everything in-house.
Yeah.
And why that sucks in Canada, for example, up until a little while ago, all of the bolts for the 180 rifles in this country were made by one company. It didn't matter if it was Spectre or Crew Arms or Kodiak or even Sterling. They were all made by one effing company because there was only one effing company to get them from. The receiver sets for some of the companies that are making their Canadian rifles, they have had to go to high-end manufacturers that do not specifically manufacture within the firearms industry.
Right.
And they have had to say, here's our specs, here's our designs. You guys make high precision parts. Can you make these precision parts? And those companies say, yeah, we sure can. How many do you need? Well, this is the Canadian industry. I can do lots of 500, or I can do lots of 1,000. That manufacturer is going to go to them and say, cool, you want to do a lot of 1,000 receivers? I can absolutely do that. On the downtime when I'm not making the parts in the 100,000s per run.
Right.
And by the way, if I'm a little bit backed up making my precision parts for other industries in the hundreds of thousands, you're just going to sit and wait. And
she goes
exactly right. So these are some of the challenges that come with manufacturing 100% inside of Canada. And it is, I think, an intelligent move on Sterling's part to start to look for the things that they have to look for elsewhere and still manufacturing the things that they can inside of Canada and the things that they have difficulty manufacturing in Canada outside of Canada.
Intelligent because necessity. I think being the prime driver there, when everybody's relying on one manufacturer for a certain part under those conditions that you just mentioned, that you just went through, Chris, and you have no options, that to me is more necessity than the necessity edges out intelligence slightly.
I was talking to a Canadian gun company that makes one of the rifles that we're talking about now about a year ago. And they were telling me that they were having their upper receivers manufactured by a major manufacturer in Quebec. Because let's face it, that's where all the fucking manufacturing is left in this country.
That's where all the subsidies go.
Unfortunately. They had the exact theoretical problem that I was telling you about. Their rifles disappeared for several months because they had no uppers to make more rifles. And the reason that they had no more uppers was because this major company said, look, like, we'll fit you in when we can fit you in for your order, for your lot of 500. But we just happen to be real busy in real industries right now. And we're doing, 50,000, 100,000 plus runs that are making us millions upon millions of dollars per run. And as an end result, these guys didn't have rifles. They had like full rifles with no uppers for several months.
All right. So, speaking of offshore manufacturing,
enough of your
Europe,
Chris.
let's talk about it. German manufacturing in Europe.
These are cool.
These are cool. This is the Era H6 and H6K. They're a bolt action rifle made in Jens's favorite country. For those of you that know what his favorite country is.
Deutschland.
So these are a Stanag mag fed side feeding bolt gun.
That's so weird.
Will be available in 5.56 and 300 blackout. There will be the H6K is the 16.5 inch, and the H6 is the original. I think that's an 18.5 inch.
What was 18 and 14 inch?
18 and 14 or something like that. So these are a neat rifle. These also do fold. Oops. These buttons are very finicky. So if you look at the kind of the crook of the stock, that is your pivot. So the stock will fold at that point. Also, another nice point of these is that the trigger is absolutely delightful. It's a I think it's a 2-pound trigger, and it is very crisp. There's a German sub manufacturer that does the trigger. I think they're like basically German trigger tech, and it is a very fine trigger.
That's arguably one of the nicest triggers I've ever used.
And you have, if you look on the handguard, your arc continues from the receiver all the way forward to the handguard. Nice, that safety is just kind of right below the bolt throw there, so it's nice and accessible. It kind of looks a little awkward, but the ergonomics are actually quite nice.
You know what it looks like? It looks like it's made for you to cycle with your index and thumb and pull the trigger with your middle finger.
Yeah.
Like, am I right about that? Like, just how low it comes down beside the trigger guard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you probably could get rather fast with it. And it does take Stanag mags. So,
yeah. What this rifle kind of makes me think of is like a nice looking girl, like a solid 8.5 with that mag, the way it is there, solid 8.5. But
she's got a wonky eye.
She's missing a leg, like.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, like, it's not a deal breaker, but it's just a little bit off-putting. I mean, nothing a light switch.
However, one thing I will say, because it just takes Stanag mags or maybe you have cross mags. You got those nice long mags, because this does take AR mags. You're in the prone position and you got that great big mag dangling down. You can have a nice big long mag sticking out the side, and it's not going to get in the way. So,
snaggletooth.
Eric, do you have the photo of like from behind the rifle?
Oh boy,
I actually don't.
Like, I'll be honest though.
Looking down like the sight, like looking down the barrel
from the back, yeah.
No,
if I was going to blow $1,000 or more on a bolt action in 223, I think I would go with that over like a CZ 600 trail or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
I
this
wanna know
is
what
they
this
also
Ruger
offer a
name there.
Ruger 1022 chassis, and also they do offer a Rem 700 short action chassis. However, they did not have that one there.
Hmm.
I
So
don't. I want this thing or nothing.
mhm.
H6 nothing.
I'm pretty
H6.
sure this rifle is obviously, since it is made in Germany, it's definitely on the pricier side. I
Yeah.
think retail is going to be about $1,600,
Yeah, 15,
1,650.
16, somewhere in there.
Yes.
But if it's not
So
the ergonomics that you guys say,
mhm,
and if it's accurate, which it probably will be,
mhm.
it seems worth it.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's got a very nice trigger. Folding stock is nice handguard. I'll let you guys chat. I will try to get a photo of the muzzle brake on it. I know Mike had
You had a
something
photo of
happening in his pants for that muzzle brake.
you had a
So-
photo of it.
Which,
Just go
which
back.
No,
weight
there's,
is
there's
that
another one.
Oh, there it
Is
is.
that-
Yep.
stock fold?
It folds.
Stock
Yeah,
fold
there's a
right
folding
or
stock,
left?
too. It was left there,
Because-
wasn't it?
Wouldn't that stock interfere with that mag?
It must fold to right behind the mag. It has to,
You-
because the
gotta,
magazine well
guess.
flares out of the side. So
Mhm.
whether you had a magazine in it or not, it would have to fold in behind.
Maybe
that
there's
flare-
a magazine cut out in the cheek piece.
You know what? You can go watch the video that has 30 seconds of missing audio, because for some reason YouTube did not like the conversion. I will apologize for that. We are working on it.
I will
Even though
admit
it's been a
that
couple
is
days.
one of the videos I haven't watched yet, but I will. I apologize.
I'll see if I can't pull it up in the video in the background.
1AB says it folds on a downward angle. Oh, so it comes underneath the magazine.
Yeah, I'm getting a screen snip here as we speak.
But also, okay, so this muzzle device, because in Germany you can have suppressors, I guess,
Yeah.
because they're more free than
Smart.
us. Figure that one out.
Yeah.
So this has a direct thread system that will work with their suppressors, but like this muzzle brake blast deflector system right here would work great. But they have a little can that threads
Yeah.
onto here, and it looks like a miniature suppressor, and it looks great. I would put that blast deflector on a Sterling. And I know they spent some time on the muzzle device on it. I would actually swap it.
I'm spilling
that.
some beans here, but I actually have a prototype of exactly that for my Sterling Mark II that they never did go to production with, and it looks fucking awesome on the Sterling.
And I'm like, these rifles, you look at them, because the first time I saw one, like a preview, I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever. After going and picking one up, yes.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Under the
so
trigger.
so
that's-
we'll
that's
clear
the
the
muzzle
magazine.
device.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at that thing.
I really like that, guys. The more I'm looking at it, the more I like
Mhm.
it.
And 300 blackout.
Yes, and
No, I
a
think
300
they've made
blackout will have a 1 in 8 twist.
Yeah.
So if you are shooting subsonic, it will stabilize pretty much anything subsonic, which is nice. And then again, hopefully with the new government, we can thread something on there so that subsonic is even quieter. But until the new government arrives that makes legal changes, we'll just have to run with what it's provided with.
That was
So-
also a big rumor at TACCOM.
That's
something
hopeful.
may be
That's hopeful
changing in that
thinking.
regard.
But either way, I think it's a pretty neat product.
Sorry, what's
So-
the hopeful thinking of what will change?
that maybe things might get quieter on the muzzle end.
Well, that would sure be nice.
That's the rumor that was floating around.
Yeah. I
From
will
people
say
that
though,
know more than I do.
I will say though, they upscale that and put it out in 8.6 blackout,
Mhm.
and they can have my money.
We talked to them about that
And
because the primary focus of this rifle is actually for boar hunting in Germany.
that makes sense.
So they're going to keep it with certain calibers that are more useful in Germany.
For boar hunting, yeah.
But
fuck
I think 350 Legend was on the block.
Don't care.
450
Don't
Bushmaster.
care.
Yeah, bigger calibers because it's
All short action, intermediate calibers. Yeah.
Basically, yeah, short action.
Yeah. No, they lost me.
Speaking of 8.6 Blackout,
yeah,
that is a fix
with a Night Force.
With a Night Force, and this was at the Gravel booth. And all I gotta say is that is the absolute lightest bolt known to man.
Really?
I
pretty
see why
sure
they're $5,000 rifles.
The bolt is mostly carbon fiber.
That handle is carbon fiber?
The handle, but the bolt itself, like the bolt body, other than the head, is carbon fiber.
That's
if
weird.
you're following Banyak Precision's Instagram, there is a video of me actuating this action with a single tip of the finger. It is that light.
Wow.
So that was definitely something interesting to fondle, because I've, like most of you, I've seen the price online and I'm like, holy shit. But now that I've actually got to fondle one, I can see why materials and design and fit and finish wise, why they are the price they are.
Yeah.
You know what this one reminds me of?
Mhm.
Strictly from an aesthetics point of view? Like a girl.
Great birch.
Solid 3. I don't like it.
But she rides hard.
She might. I mean, but yeah.
I bet if you fondled this thing a bit more, it would grow on you.
It would turn into a 6 immediately.
Fondling, turning everything into a 7 since the prehistoric era.
Tread lightly.
Visual is only.
I did. You notice I stopped myself. Derek, what else we got? Let's keep her going.
Oh, we got lots else.
Just a question here from 1AB. Did you guys see the single shot shotgun for a handgun that fits on the pick rail? I don't know if he worded good there, or
the knee bone connected to the eye bone in the.
Okay.
I don't think
single shot shotgun for a handgun.
Okay. So there's this thing, but also one thing I didn't catch is, unfortunately, the photo doesn't show it. But to the right on the little pipe stand, might have been something like that, because it looked like just essentially just that, a little action, a little barrel. This Wasp is a 410 pepper box style rifle that is restricted. Unfortunately, didn't get to talk much, and there's a lot of gawkers on this booth.
It's restricted.
Yes,
restricted rifle?
It is a restricted rifle. It's not a pistol; it's a rifle.
No, it's a shotgun. It's 410. You said.
Yes, it is 410, but it has been classified as restricted.
I
think
really
it's based on overall length.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm thinking is why. He's like, you can get those pistol rifles, the Heritage whatever revolver, but it has enough barrel, I think, to technically be a rifle with the stock. So this thing was also interesting too, in that in order to reload it, you simply remove the barrel.
Right.
So just above the trigger, above to the rear of the cylinder, there's kind of a button press. You press on both sides, and that would release the barrel. And then you load your shells and put the cylinder back on, just like a revolver that changes cylinders. So it's the same company. Sorry?
Is it a quad barrel?
I think quad or 6. 5 or 6, maybe.
That's interesting.
But yes,
this booth was so crowded, we could barely get to it.
Yeah. Obviously not made for our market.
No, it was a weird kind of. They were just kind of there, also gauging interests. Legal status of stuff was kind of weird. Again, it couldn't get there, couldn't get a lot of information. But as 1AB said, that's the same company that made the pick rail shotgun, 12 gauge single shot, and I do believe that is the item to the right side in this photo that's sitting on top of the stands. And I think
single shot firearms. That's exactly what you want in a tactical situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like it's
Trail
one
included.
if it mounts on your pick rail, it kind of seems like it's the type of thing that you're supposed to put on there, like an M203 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're out there rifling, but if you need some spread, you have one shot with a 12 gauge.
So
the master
so it
key is for
changes
preaching.
your 12 gauge pump loadout from birdshot buckshot slug to beanbag birdshot buckshot slug.
Can we talk about
That
this?
seems like the most.
This
What
is the meme
the
gun.
fuck?
This is the Family Guy meme of the elephant and the penguin. It's like, what the hell is that? That's this.
That is so cute.
And it's in
I do
410.
kind of like it.
I really like that. Who's importing that?
Is that a
Tactical
revolver then?
That's tactical imports. Yeah. I do believe there is is this the wood? Yeah, that's the
there's
wood
the
for
wood
that.
version.
Oh, who cares? Who cares?
Let
that
me,
PDS picture to my site.
What's with angled pictures, boys?
yeah,
It's getting sore.
Booth crowded. Many people.
yes.
Trying to film
Okay.
a video and guys are like when we did the WK video, which we'll get to eventually, you see a lot of cuts in there. It's because people are like kicking the tripod or like yelling really loud. I'm like, okay, I hate all of you. Let me just film in private.
You know,
It's
that's
hard to
why
film
when,
Looks
at a
like you're
trade
just
show.
doing drive-bys.
that's why when we go to SHOT Show, we carry we film with the action cameras with wireless microphones and no tripod. Because
And
we've
higher
seen those
security.
guys trying to get around with the tripods and the setups, and like it's
Yet.
bonkers.
Mm.
I mean, the video quality suffers for sure, but
I do kind
That's
of
all
like
about
this
the
thing.
editing. And
I
getting
like
your
that.
video out
that
first.
little- What's the MSRP supposed to be on that little puppy?
Did not get it, but I want to say like $800 if I was guessing.
Guys, we're talking about a truck gun series that needs to be tested.
Yes, right on.
I volunteer as tribute.
Chris volunteers with tribute because I don't want to.
I do. I really do. I really,
You can have it.
really like. At least the look of it. I mean, it might shoot for shit. I don't know. But
Speaking of truck guns, this is
This is more
The old-
rooster style.
that's a stagecoach.
double barrel stagecoach exposed hammer,
Case hardened.
case hardened coach from
Gonna hurt
Tactical
real
Imports.
bad when you shirt.
Oh,
Wow.
Did you say shirt?
shirt.
I'm slurring my words.
Y'all are
I need
gonna
more-
shart when you shoot it.
I would. That thing's gonna hurt. I
Is
need
that
more
called the
editing
double-
juice.
The double barreled burp snart.
It could be.
Possibly.
The double barrel burp snort.
Yes.
There's a t-shirt idea right there for you.
Bert, we need to win the lottery and open a gun company just so you can name
Oh,
guns.
fuck yeah.
Only if I get the design.
The solid 3. So
Oh, so Tactical
Ugly
Imports is
thing.
the same company that's bringing in that Saloon Arms, that SS 211.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
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 what it
the
was.
same company. Yep. That
Well,
was their
here's the thing now. You know, they bring in these really interesting looking shotguns, but I have heard like that Saloon Arms. I've heard that it's not like, you know, phenomenal.
Because
I
it's
don't
a
know why-
12 gauge that's like a 12-inch barrel and you want to have a good time.
Yeah, I guess.
You're not
I-
going
well-
to.
Most of these are all Turkish guns too.
very much
most-
so.
Most
Again,
of these
Tactical Imports. Emphasis
Yeah.
on the imports.
Not tactical domestics. Name's right there.
yeah.
Derek, let's keep it moving.
What was the model number for that tactical little dream?
I'll at the Axor X12 or something. Ooh, yeah, we want to get into this.
It's not on their
This is-
website.
does it come with a translated model name?
I think it was the Axor 410 or something.
Is this
I
the
have
Gen
the
3?
picture. This is the WK Gen 3.
Because that looks quite different, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, they said that it's a Gen 2 lower, but they've put a different safety selector on it.
That's not even where the fun starts. We got to get up to the top.
Okay, here's the thing. I said this a long time ago, and I've been saying this for several years now. If the Gen 3 doesn't have a redesigned gas system, if it doesn't have a like that was the biggest thing, and if it doesn't have a shell deflector, then they will have failed. And they've done both of those. Interesting choice, because this is rifle length now, isn't it?
This is rifle length.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
It's
And-
a bit of an interesting choice going to rifle length.
And gas regulator.
Yeah.
So there's
Right.
three
And
position-
multi-piece
there's three
piston.
multi-position gas settings.
Yeah. I mean, this is very interesting. I'm interested.
Yeah, they
No one-
basically took all the feedback and said, "Hey, let's add it." So they did.
And that's a pretty thin profile barrel. I wonder
Well,
if they
it-
don't
it's
have
thicker.
the same barrel width.
And then it gets thinner.
Ah, is that what it is? Okay.
It's thick
Yeah,
and it gets to
actually
the gas
have a-
block, and then it thins down a bit for the weight.
Yeah. I wonder if they did that because they were having barrel width problems as well.
Well, and it's a weight saving because, like, why would you have that extra bit of barrel if you're trying to cut weight? You can just shave the end of it down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole point in a pencil barrel to begin with, right?
I mean, stop whining about weight. Go to the gym. That's my only answer to that. Guys are
Can't,
complaining
bro.
about
Spending too much time at the range.
this rifle's so heavy. Laughs with my PRS rifle. Kurt laughs with his ELR rifle.
But here's a big question: is the bolt carrier different than the Gen 2?
Yes, they changed a bit in the bolt carrier. The cam pin dimensions are different,
Okay.
and there's a different track that it rides in for a bit of wear resistance.
Okay.
And from my understanding, you will be able to just take this upper and put it on your Gen 2 lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is reverse compatible with the lower. So
You know,
you can change that all up.
one thing I like that a lot of the companies obviously did this year is laying out the parts of their rifles so you can
Yeah.
see them taken apart.
With the exception of BCL. BCL did
Oh.
not, unfortunately, do that.
Bastards. Wait a second. I just saw something.
Mhm.
Did they go the steel insert route on that upper?
I believe there is a steel insert in that upper.
Oh, you guys. No. I'm so
Why?
sorry.
What's wrong there?
I never liked that in the MCR.
No. Okay.
I never liked it. I always thought that
That's an opinion thing, not a function.
it is.
Is
It
it?
is. It is.
Because
I always thought that the requirement of that because of the whole wear thing of the charging handle, I never thought that was super legitimate of a concern to begin with. I do like that they made the charging handle and the insert long enough now that it's enclosed when the bolt is closed or when the charging handle is closed.
and they're working on charging handle design, so it'll be more like there's gonna be a folding one and like a foul style.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming
Foul style would be cool.
because the fouls are awesome.
They are awesome.
And there's we got a new handguard too.
Sorry, I'm just getting shit talked. I never had spinner hubcaps. Never did. Alberta Rob is saying at one point in your life you had spinner hubcaps and stick-on chrome from Canadian Tire on a vehicle, didn't you? I did not have either of
And
those
a
things.
mullet.
Bullshit.
I did have a mullet in the 90s for a short period of time. I also had a rat tail. Sorry, mullet was in the late 80s.
No.
And the rat tail was in like 1991. I had a rat tail for about a year.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, carry on. I'm sorry.
Little bit of a sidetrack. I don't know if Mike got this detail, but this is you can see the gas block. I kind of a close up of the gas block here. Now, if you look at the end of the gas block, how is that gas block secured? Is that like a nut?
Yeah. What is that rounded thing on there?
That rounded thing that's got grooves in it. I'm thinking it might be a nut. I didn't ask. I don't know if Mike, if you got that information.
Can't remember because it was like drinking from a fire hose this weekend.
That's very true. Very true.
It does look like it's got spanner grooves in it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
From what I seen, we did get some of the best footage of the parts put together because we went and asked, "Hey, can you open the case up for us?" Because the glare is really bad. So they opened up the case for us, and we got some nice.
Actually,
close-up
I'll
shots.
add a video clip of panning through the case while you guys keep talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they also redesigned the handguard, so it does actually index into the upper now.
Oh, that's good.
And
Proprietary.
I heard some guys complaining that, oh, it's proprietary. I'm like, yeah, because the whole top end is now different. What did you expect? And really,
the
there's nothing
reality
wrong
is-
with the handguard. It's got M-Lock, it's got Picatinny. What more do you need on there?
All the
Unless
other
you want-
companies were going proprietary anyway.
Yeah,
Bayonet
there's
lug.
proprietary is not a bad word.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Everybody, I think we shot ourselves in the foot a little bit, so to speak, if you'll pardon the pun, with some of the requirements that we had early on after the ordering council. I think that if companies had a little bit more or a little bit less pressure to make everything to quote replace ARs, and if they had a little bit more freedom just to make a solid semi-auto rifle right off the bat, I think it would have been long before we started seeing things like the Mark III, the Gen 3, things like the Siberian, the Crypto. I think it would have been.
Yeah.
I think we would have saw that stuff a long time ago.
Like Rome wasn't built in a day, and they had slave labor.
Right. And that was such a scramble, right, at the beginning after that OIC.
It really was. Yeah.
To
Kodiak
get
was the
something to
only one in a
market.
decent position.
That's right.
Is that you or something?
Sure, maybe.
And then Whiskey
So,
Bill's
You have the different generations.
yeah, so the second generation did a lot of things. One of the main
I should have muted the audio on that clip. That was kind of a clip where you could see a little bit closer detail, the multi-piece.
Oh, the piston.
If
Yeah.
you want to see it,
Off
go on our
rod.
YouTube channel and watch the video of the WK Gen 3,
hmm
where we do a nice pan and you can see all of the things up close in 1080p.
We've asked Kodiak to come on the show a number of times over the years, and unfortunately, they're not the type of folks that
Not keen on it.
yeah. But it would be really nice because there's a lot of changes here.
For sure. Yeah.
It really would be nice to have some time to sit down with them and go through them all. But I like how they
have to review them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, exactly. Yeah, I like
I
how they put.
volunteer.
Is that a
I'll
pick?
do it.
You volunteer as tribute. Is that a pick rail end that they put on that one now as well?
Yeah, the pick rail on the top has been raised so that it's not an issue. It's a full mil spec pick rail.
I mean, for the
So
butt
it's-
stock.
No, for this butt stock? No, that's the Zukov stock.
Mhm.
But how's it attaching to the rear end of the rifle?
With their mount, I believe.
Okay, so it's specifically made for the Zukov. We're not going
Yeah.
with the collapsible
I
M4 stock.
think there's a Zukov, and I believe they're working on a Galil style stock as well.
So what's the adapter plate that on the receiver then?
That's the rear trunnion, I believe. Rear trunnion.
Hmm.
That's the stock mount. You're asking questions that I don't know the answer to.
Well, what
I
did
don't
we
know.
send you to TACCOM for?
For all, go watch the YouTube that you didn't watch. Apparently,
Well, do you answer that question in the YouTube video?
I might. It was a long weekend.
It was a long time ago.
We got the first Sterling video up, and people were just like, "Hey, good job," and that's up to like 15,000 views, I think, or something.
And then we made 11 or 12 more. So
Fine.
let's check out the other big Canadian semi-auto,
Mhm.
and that is the BCL Grizzly.
Oh, they've got
Magic.
the full rifle.
She thick.
No
She
kidding.
looks
So
thick.
So Grizzly, is that a 308?
that is will be
No,
the
it's a bear.
308 and 6.5 Creedmoor.
Oh.
Coming in 6.5, 308 should be shipping like in a week or two.
Yes.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, like we said, BCL did not have internals spread out, and these rifles were actually kind of hard mounted to this Can-Am. And unfortunately, there was a number of gawkers that were more interested in the Can-Am than the rifle. So that made getting
Excuse
close
me,
to the
sir,
rifle.
Could you take your gawking mouth and fuck off?
Mhm.
We're trying to be important. We have shirts that have our podcast logo on it. We're kind of important walking around with a tripod.
Excuse me,
You know
kind of
who
a
I
big
am.
deal coming through.
So there is the spec sheet on the Grizzly.
8.7 pounds.
Yeah.
But if you notice just above that, the gas system is an adjustable gas block of mid-length.
Interesting. Everybody seems to have gone that way, hey?
I mean, it's worked for quite
Very
a while.
interesting.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
so you got
one
an
of the-
adjustable gas block. You have a bigger... the charging handle's new for the Grizzly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can
I know.
convert it to
Bad.
6mm Creedmoor and 22-250 if you were so inclined.
And 8.6. Don't forget 8.6.
Oh, we're not going to forget 8.6. It's a Grizzly.
Hmm.
You're going to take out a Grizzly when it charges you with the
It,
8.6.
it seems like it's mandatory, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Oh, what a weird looking buttstock.
So that is the Badger. So that is their
It's more of a raced up.
5.56.
It's a raced up version of the Siberian.
A
Yes.
braced up version of the Siberian.
Yeah. Go
Can I
fast.
point out something that's a little bit concerning to me?
Very square.
That's the whole idea of this podcast. Yes.
So, well, and to respond to Kurt, that seems to be a BCL thing. They like very square and flat
Mhm.
looks.
Yeah.
So that seems consistent for them. But what's concerning me is that this is a show-off rifle at a trade show, and there is rust on those handguard pins.
I was just looking at that. Is that
Those
just
are
a
screws,
colored
actually.
feature, or
There's rust on the screws of the demo model. That
enhanced picture?
On it.
enhance.
Enhance.
That I'm not gonna lie, guys. That makes me take a second look.
That has to be
Hear
a
me out.
feature of sorts.
They're in Ontario. There's
It's
a lot more
it's
moisture in the air. To me, that
It's
shows that they've
pre-occupied.
actually been testing this thing outside.
We don't need to anodize because our rifles ship pre-oxidized.
Yeah. Alberta Rob's saying copper coated like it. Maybe.
It could be.
Maybe.
It could
Just-
be.
Yeah. Just didn't
Man,
wipe
you
it
get
off.
copper coat, you look at it funny, and you get it everywhere.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, I would
I can
love
attest.
to have a rifle like this that was Cerakoted to look like a rusty piece of shit. That would be awesome.
Uh-huh.
You followed people are ridiculous. Everything.
I'm not talking Fallout style with a shovel handle for a buttstock. I'm talking
What?
just to make it look like it was not taken care of.
Yeah, Fallout.
Well, and the other concerning thing for me too, once again, there's a no pew marking, a pew marking, and no pew 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 marking.
Well, there may or may
Another
not
Canadian
be one of those.
fail.
We're just not allowed to have that because boomers
I
ruined it in the
suppose.
70s.
So
Another interesting thing to bring up is this is the Badger technical sheet. Unfortunately, it's not super zoomed in, but if you do zoom in, there is going to be a polymer lower available.
that sketches me out.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
I
that
don't know if BCL is the company to pull that off.
mhm.
Sure they are.
I hope they are.
Yes.
It would be cool. Is
So you're gonna have a-
for lower Glock clones.
A 9, a 12.5, and an 18.6 barrel, both available in the aluminum and polymer.
so the polymer will be less expensive, I assume.
Probably.
I would see
Mm.
that as the only benefit to going to polymer.
Mhm.
You know, let's be honest. You know, the What Would Stoner Do rifles, they're all polymer lowers. It's not like a polymer lower can't be done. And let's also admit that
And for your
polymer has
viewing
really-
pleasure, rust.
That's rust. That is rust.
Good job on the enhanced there.
You're welcome.
That's so weird.
Mhm.
There's a
I
ton of moisture in Ontario. That doesn't surprise me.
I don't think that fucking matters.
Yeah, if you're
Come
shooting it
on.
outside, it's gonna get rusty.
Speaking of outside, that is the ammo truck.
What
So
ammo
the
Oh, I need one of
the
those.
TACCOM tradition is there is a law that you cannot sell ammunition or
In the
regulation
Oh,
in the show.
Because there's
However,
a dick
you can sell in the parking lot.
in true
That's
Toronto
awesome.
Buddy,
fashion.
come to my truck.
Yes.
I love that. Is that an RCMP officer over there talking to the guy in the truck?
No, that's a third party security.
Enhance.
Oh, okay.
There definitely was cops. There were city cops there. There was a police presence.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been awesome though if that was an RCMP officer and he was just like, "Yeah, I'll take 2 bricks of 5.56."
Yeah.
So
Moving on
that
here.
was what was outside. So another little unique thing there.
That's kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah.
That's smart. Now let me guess though. FOC was the only one with an ammo truck outside.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how the ammo truck worked actually.
We flew,
Well, it says,
so
it
bringing
says
ammunition
FOC
was,
truck on the side.
that could have been their version of it. But
Zoom in and enhance.
That would have been more clear if you had have enhanced.
I do I do believe there was a second truck. Yeah, that's the FOC truck, and there was a second truck further down.
Okay,
I think he was only there the second day, however.
That one says U-Haul.
Yes.
Yeah.
very astute observation, Kurt.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on it.
Well,
So-
it seems like you guys saw a lot of shit.
We
there's
did see a
more.
lot of shit.
If you wouldn't keep going on tangents, we could keep showing them off.
Have you been
I'm
you
sorry.
been exposed
Speaking
to
of,
Chris and this podcast? ever?
Yeah, my name is Chris. This is the Ballistically Speaking podcast.
Right.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's getting him to shut up. That's the trick.
Hold on a second.
Welcome to my hell.
Oh, did you just show a close up of the?
So this is the R9.
Yeah.
I was looking for the actual just better photo of it. I'm gonna add one.
Also a shell deflector. That's neat.
So that
Now
Or a-
they
They're
start
interesting.
cover.
Dust cover is what I meant to say.
they're interesting that they will be taking MP5 mags.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Mm.
hmm
Because, MP5 mags work.
Hmm.
Also, they don't look dumb with every other PCC that has the weird Glock mag at like a 45-degree
Yeah.
angle. That's the ugliest thing ever, and I refuse to buy one because of it.
And Jens endorses them.
Yeah, and, well,
Anything
shit.
MP5.
That does look really neat. I like how they put the
It does.
integrated muzzle device on in the barrel.
hmm
I
It
think
does
that's
look
kinda
nice.
cool.
But the
It
cool
looks-
thing is the rifling is only like 11 inches down the barrel, or 9 inches.
but it allows them to get to non-restricted 18 and a half. Is that the idea?
Yep, that's
basically.
the whole
But
idea.
But there is a restricted version of this coming too.
I don't care. I don't want it.
Mhm.
That's just fucking smart. It's just smart.
Because-
SMRT.
The reason that it's like that is because basically you only have so much powder in a 9mm. By the time it's all burnt up, you're only like
Yes.
11 inches down the barrel.
Mhm.
If that.
But you want to
Mhm.
keep it non-restricted, so you add that linear comp.
Yeah,
And it, from what JR was saying, it keeps it quite flat too.
I bet.
So
Yeah.
you get the best of both worlds. And that
So
also
it's like-
features a lot of the same stuff on the R18, the stock, the grip.
Mhm. The charging
Firing pin safety.
Firing pin
Yep.
safety is another one too.
Yeah.
This is a blowback, and that bolt has chonk to it. Oh my.
Yeah, I bet it would. Yeah.
Like in the video, I had to stop staring at it because I'm like, you're trying to film in one take.
That's,
Stop fondling this thing.
That's not the greatest photo of the bolt, but you can see the bolt, and there's the firing pin safety that JR is currently depressing. You can tell by the size of his hands that bolt has got some
It is
got
good,
some
man.
mass to it.
Oh, it's
You
not
will
the
not
JR
out
just
of
has
battery
tiny hands?
Aladdin this one.
hmm
JR doesn't have carny hands.
No,
Hands,
he's-
smells of cabbage.
Creepy.
He's gonna punch me next time he sees me for that comment.
And so he
He's like,
should.
he's like, that's it. I'm sending a rifle to Slamfire for them to review.
Go fuck yourselves. And we have a photo here. This is so I really like the mag release on this one. So basically,
was gonna
just
say,
forward
that looks
of the
nice.
trigger guard, you
Yeah.
can push that forward with your index finger, or there's also the button too. The button actuates a lever, so you basically have that option. Another way I think about it too is when you go up to grab your mag, you can actually use your thumb to press on that release, pull out the mag. So instead of using your finger to press or your trigger finger to press, you're already coming up that direction anyways with your thumb index like that. For me, that seems like it'd be a really smooth.
Well, that's very
mag
similar
change.
to an actual MP5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's more natural too, because with a Glock, like you're going up and forward with it, with the Glock magazines. With these, it's more of a natural bring it up into the rifle and you're there.
Yeah.
And there will be pistol mags available.
I see this rifle potentially making a big splash for PCC competition, for race gun. I hope it does. I hope it sells by the quadrillion, and that convinces him to make a 10 mil version for backpacking.
That would be.
Wouldn't that be primo? Because MP5 magazines come in 10 mil.
Yes. Another thing too is there's some people caught up. He's initially like the ones they had the show were just a 5, and it will ship with just a 5. However, JR said there's an FRT for MP5 10-round mags, and he will be bringing in a lot of them to the dealers.
Yeah.
So that's another thing he wants to make sure is that, guys, I'm going to have mags available for this. Just because you don't have them right now, don't worry about it. We're going to get lots.
You don't have the rifle right now either, so big deal.
Yeah.
It's there. It's an option. Yeah, they have an FRT for a pistol, and the short barrel version of the R9 is just so much fun.
Yeah, I bet it would. Like if I was looking for a race gun for competition, 100% I'd get the short barrel. But I'm more the your back, Kurt. I'm more the just in case you were thinking of picking your nose or something. Oh, he has no audio. That's weird. I'm more the backpacking.
No audio still.
PCs. Now you're back. You got audio now. I would have one for backpacking. But then again, that's also why I would want 10 mil.
Also, Trigger Tech is going to get a copy of the R9 because right now it's shipping of the mil spec trigger, but it's a nice mil spec trigger, like it's polished.
Yeah,
it's not your crappy mil spec trigger.
So it doesn't take AR-15 triggers.
They're going to work with Trigger Tech, and you might be able to just get a drop in, or there might be a different one. They're working on that, but right now it's a mil spec trigger.
Okay,
because like JR said, they're a gun company. Trigger Tech's a trigger company. Let the pros do what pros do.
Yep. That seems smart.
Speaking of backpacking guns,
there you go.
No, fuck off.
The gold Cerakoted Type 81s.
Come on, man.
FOC
At
booth.
least one war crime was required to prove that you did to purchase one of these.
Do I look like I want to send people to the gulags? Whatever. Okay.
Do you want me to not answer that?
Okay, they're kind of neat, but I don't understand the whole gold fetish. I just don't. But I'll admit, white furniture with the gold. The white furniture with the gold that is a good pairing.
And those were so they're doing like a sticker draw kind of thing. So you buy a sticker and somebody's going home with those two.
Get one of those ugly pieces of shit. I mean, those fantastic looking gold rifles.
There you go. And it's a Type 81. It's gonna work.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm cool with the rifles.
Oh, the Imposter Syndrome rangefinder.
Yes, this is one of my favorite items. And,
what's it mounted on?
It's a Razor Gen 2.
No, not the optic. I don't care about the optic. I mean,
it's on a Cadex.
Oh, it's on a Cadex. Okay.
Yeah. So it turns out if you stand in a booth with a TACCOM lanyard and a semi-professional looking shirt, people just assume you work at the booth. Even though it clearly doesn't say Vortex or anything, Derek was standing there fielding questions for people, and I'm like, Derek, you don't work here. Let them do their job.
I would just give everybody all the wrong information.
No, he was giving good information.
No, I would give them the wrong information.
I know you. I know you would, but
yeah, I
It
would.
was kind of the thing because you're hanging out at a relatively small gun show for 3 days, and you've seen it all, and you gotta, you're working, but you gotta entertain yourself. So there was a few times at which essentially I did play booth imposter, and it was rather fun. And
At
as someone who's
multiple
also
booths.
been behind the booth at a gun show, I know what it's like. So, but it was also nice to play with the Impact 4000. You need to see that kit. There's also some interesting rangefinders and binos from Sig Sauer that we got to play with. Mike and played with them more, so more to talk about those.
The Sig Kilo 8K rangefinder has one of the nicest HUDs that I've seen in a rangefinder. All of your stuff is right there, but it's not overcrowding.
Yeah.
I prefer it to the binos.
Interesting.
Yeah, that 8K is something else.
Very cool.
I mean, it's hard to test a rangefinder inside, but
yeah.
Derek, what else we got?
Just pulling up one more thing here. Just got another photo.
You know which photo I want you to show. There's two of them.
I don't have that photo.
Oh,
If
I'll
the
send
photo
it to you.
has
It's on your phone. You'll have to upload it.
If the photo has anything to do with Mike and bare skin, just move on. Those aren't new.
They aren't new, but the colors are new. There's new colors.
What's the point in this rifle? I don't get this rifle.
It's a backpacking rifle, Mr. I love backpacking.
Yeah, but a backpacking rifle and 22 long rifle, I mean, give your head a shake.
Hey, all you got to do is shoot your buddy in the knee.
Yeah, but I'm going to need, you guys have seen me shoot. I'm going to need way more than one shot to do that.
Speaking of shooting your buddy in the knee, the new Daria TM22 standard.
Yeah, standard. That's the classic. Yeah. I like this idea that they're bringing in, like, they're all sharing magazines, but like a lot of looks for it. And this is basically, like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is basically just a TM22 with a more standard rifle stock.
Somewhat.
Yeah, very, very minimal entry kind of level plinker is kind of its vibe. If you look at the front of the pick rail, you can actually see the rear sight. So it does have factory open iron sights on. I'll get a photo.
Yeah, I can see it there. That's neat.
Sight.
This is that a little lever for the mag release on the bottom, or?
I do have a photo from the bottom. I'll add that next. That is the front sight.
Yeah.
And the bottom coming up here in one moment.
Yeah,
there is the little reliever on the side.
See this being very suitable for people doing Project Maple Seed.
Yes.
Also not crazy expensive.
Yeah. And with how reliable the TM22 has been, I see this being a very good rifle.
But now you have 3 rifles that all take the same magazine.
Exactly. You've got a lever action.
From 5s to 25s, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have a flavor, it's there.
I like this option. I think this is really smart on their part. I think we've got to see if we can get either Phil or Tony or Ben or somebody on. It's been too long, number one. And number two, they've got so many new things coming out. Come on, airsoft frag grenade.
and Chris, this isn't just like something you'd like put CO2 in or something. You pull the pin and the thing explodes with 120 decibels of fun.
120 decibels?
Yeah, it's pyrotechnic.
Have you? Did they demonstrate?
No, obviously not. But I can read a brochure.
Who's making these?
Wait, Mike can read?
Believe it or not, I can read. Again.
Is that a pineapple grenade down there too?
Yeah, they have a RGD-5 style grenade. They have flashbang style grenades. They have smoke grenades.
Okay, whatever.
But like, say someone was trying to break into your house and you just kind of pop one of these out of the window. That might be a good option. Or if you got wildlife harassing you, chuck one of them out the door. Or you got bears in the area, let one of them
I
off.
could see that replacing a bear banger.
Because you can throw it.
It'd feel way more badass to rip that pin out with your teeth and just chuck it at the bear.
Absolutely.
And the only legal requirement
in the middle of the woods
these,
yelling "frag out" in front of a big old grizzly.
See, I spot onto the airsoft guys up in the game, but the only requirement is you cannot repaint them any other color than orange. They were very clear about that. Yeah, you get Natural Resources Canada after you if you start doing other stuff with them.
Really though, what color are you going to paint them? So are you telling me
bears are colorblind anyways?
It neon blue.
They had some neon blue options, yes.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, but that was for the launcher tube thing.
Oh, okay.
So they had like a 37 millimeter launcher, like a grenade launcher essentially, and they had the foam darts were the same kind of orange foam, and then they had like a chalk marking round.
But dude, I can see it in the photo there. The TAG ML36 grenade launcher, $1,250.
Well, yeah, because it's a kit. You get that. You get a stock. There's an air tank involved. It's a pretty involved setup. It comes in a big hard case.
Can we be real for a minute? Alberta Rob is talking shit again. He likes tactical revolver shotgun, doesn't like play grenade. What the fuck, man? Okay, let's move on before Rob is shit talking me more.
I'll let Mike show some of his photos.
Well, you can click. I don't know how to StreamYard works here. I'm still trying to.
You just click on the photo. We all know the photo that you want.
Yeah, we've seen that photo.
Mike nerding out.
Yeah.
Night vision.
That's thermal and night vision, right?
No, that's panoramic night vision.
Oh, that's panoramic night vision. Okay.
Which is the coolest shit ever.
When I see that photo, I want to call you Four Eyes and steal your lunch money.
There's Op4 Solutions, the fellows selling that stuff. So they had demo night vision, demo thermals,
cool,
and they're fielding questions.
Thermals were sweet. But yeah, those panels, you're buying a superpower, and they were only, I think the cheapest set was 15,000. Oh. And then you can go up to 40.
40 grand?
Yeah.
For what?
To see at night without other people seeing you.
$40,000?
Yeah.
I can buy a car for that.
You can buy the pair for 15 too.
Well, for 15 grand is still a lot of money. I could buy a quad for that.
Yeah, or you could buy a superpower that lets you see at night without other people seeing you.
I just don't get it. Why are these things so expensive? I don't get it.
Because night vision is ridiculously expensive to manufacture because it's not digital. Digital night vision is shit compared to analog. Digital cannot keep up with night vision.
So what makes analog night vision? Are there like rare precious metals inside of it or what?
You're dealing with a lot of really high-end manufacturing down to like the nano level. Like it's extremely hard to. The tubes alone are $3,000.
Still, man, if I'm spending $40,000, better get some sucky with that night vision.
It's night vision. It's cool.
May have been a little bit more crass than I intended it to be, but
night vision is cool. Everyone needs night vision.
It is very cool, but it's not $40,000 cool.
Oh yes, it is. You didn't look through it. I did.
I need to win the lottery. Oof.
Apparently.
What are we looking at here?
We're looking at Peraz Designs. They're a Canadian textile and gear manufacturer out of Mississauga.
Okay.
And they had a booth there, and they actually said some pretty nice gear. Like they demoed the mag pouches again on our YouTube video, and they're really nice. They had the nice plastic retaining tabs, and they stayed in shape, like they didn't collapse.
No,
But they're
there's
still
no plastic on these. The way
Yeah.
the material is sewn and put together, you can pull that AR mag out. You can put it in blind, and the pouch will stay open so that you can just quickly re-index it. And I thought, like, man, that's a $600 plate carrier. Till I got home and I looked, and they're only 200 some bucks.
Really?
And they're made in Canada. They're super high quality. I'm gonna buy one.
And it is a plate carrier.
Yeah, it's a plate carrier.
Yeah. They're made in Canada?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a Canadian company. They're made here.
They're made here, and they've done some deals with guys that know what they're doing.
Good for them.
So yeah, and they also had guys are getting them shotgun cards, like the elastic ones.
Yeah.
They make them, but they use a really beefy elastic.
Mhm.
Like, for a shotgun, I gonna want to get some of those. Very cool stuff.
What else you got?
We got board
I know,
cleaner.
Mike.
Or no.
Oh, Mike,
This is
there's
cool.
that one.
Chris, you may bow because that is an MP7, and I'm touching it.
Okay, I see an MP5 in the background. What is all this?
So this is at the Pros Designs booth. They had the one of the prop houses in Toronto.
Okay.
Movie Armaments Group. So they had a display there.
Yeah.
So this is a live functional MP7, a 40 millimeter or a 40 mil MP5, and a saw. Obviously,
Is
changed
that
to the
the
wall.
saw on the ground?
Yeah.
Very cool. Like a 240?
Yeah, 249.
249, yeah. Very cool.
So I got to touch an MP7.
I fired an MP5 SDK full auto.
Yeah, but this is an MP7. This is better than an MP5.
I don't know why. I don't know why I was threatened by you holding an MP7 and had to mention that, but I did anyway.
Because they won't even sell it to civilians, so I'm just happy I got to touch it. It was a
That's
great
pretty
day.
cool. Those are
It
even
was.
rare in the US.
Because HK doesn't think that people need to have them for some reason.
I guess. I don't know. Morons.
Which is weird. What else we got? Ooh, yes, this thing.
Flashlight?
No.
Heat lamp?
No.
This is
Keep guessing.
Nordic
We're
clay.
gonna say no because you're not gonna get it.
Is that the clay launcher?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck does that work?
Okay, so the clays are not like normal clays, like what you would think of them.
Yeah.
They kind of look like a fan blade almost.
Okay.
And then basically you clip them in there. See if I have another picture of it here. Loading, rawhide. Anyways, so you clip them in there. Alberta Rob, false statement, Mike. MPs are like golf, lower number wins. I disagree.
No, he's totally right.
He's wrong.
Wait
So
a
this
minute.
is how they work.
You shoot that with birdshot and you could hit it but miss it.
You could, but the cool
Not a-
thing about these clays is they're
I guess
made of
they're
potato starch.
Oh, that's neat.
And not at the
So-
RPM they're spinning. You're gonna hit
No.
something.
Yeah, okay.
Was
that
it?
makes sense.
You could dial that from, what did he say, 20 kilometers an hour to 60 kilometers an hour?
So let me guess how this thing works then. It spins it inside the cylinder, and then when you release the button, it just releases it and flies out into the sky.
It's got like a set of hooks in there, so they'll release after you get to a certain. It's like a governor. Once you get to
after
a certain
certain
RPM, so it lets go, and you can load two of them at the same time. And
For
basically, your
doubles.
buddy holds it and launches it, and because of how the flight characteristics is, it's more realistic as opposed to a trap thrower, which will essentially throw them the same spot every time.
Yeah,
This adds a lot more. You're going to have to be a lot more skilled to hit
it's
one
more
of these.
unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I like that.
Very cool system. And then you get a hard case and dual chargers. And I think a box of claves is about 89, roughly.
Cool. I will say the look of it looks like it's from 1987.
It is from It was Denmark,
Copenhagen.
So it's European.
It's okay.
Mm.
It's super cool. I would love to blast some of these clays.
Yeah, it looks like it would be a lot of fun.
That would be very cool.
Blast them with a 410 tactical weenie shotgun.
You could. Okay, what? This stuff, we found this at the Fort Scott booth, our friend Grant.
Mm-hmm.
It's all natural cleaner and protectant.
For what?
For rifles.
Oh, okay.
And it's got a nice citrus smell to it, so it's not like your standard gun care products that just reek of chemical.
If it's all natural and citrus, wouldn't it be acidic?
That's usually what acidic means, yes.
Do I want to be protectanting my rifle with an acidic product?
Well, it's got acidic in it.
It's obviously a protectant.
Yeah.
It's in
right
the
on
name.
I don't know how much more clear you want me to make this. I have the ingredients here. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, it smelled like I would drink that. It smelled so good. And you could.
Do not drink gun cleaner. I repeat, do not drink gun cleaner.
Shake, spray in desired area, wipe or scrub, work into moving parts, apply as needed, store and cool dry. Okay, Sarah Alba, beeswax, lard, animal fat. Do not drink this. Biomass alcohol, so it's just ethanol, and citrus terpenes, limonene.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
You could drink
So
it.
it's got animal fat as a protectant, probably the beeswax as a protectant.
And a
It
lubricant.
has ethanol as a lubricant, yeah. Has alcohol as a cleaner, and to make you want to drink it, it has lime terpenes in it.
I guess, yeah, you could say that.
Neat. It's flammable. That's cool.
I mean, all the good
And
stuff
then
is.
there are the copper solid and brass solid projectiles, spun
who's these?
projectiles from Fort Scott Musicians, our good friend Grant, which we had on the show a number of episodes back.
Very
and
neat.
here's a little selection of some of the projectiles he had. And that center
So-
one, that brass one, that is 338 Lapua.
So does that mean the one on the far left is 308?
Yes.
And
And
then
then
after that would be what, 9 maybe?
Yes, 9.
40 or 9, and then 223, and then what, like 45 maybe?
Yeah, 45 for 4570.
And
And
then
then
38. I don't know.
30-30.
No, 30
30-30?
cal for 30-30.
Gotcha.
Because it's got the flat tip, so you can put them in a tube-fed magazine.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And he had a really cool ballistic gel on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And the temporary wound cavity that a 9mm made was a lot more than I thought it would be.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
But the bullets are sharp. Like, they're physically sharp. If you dropped one on your hand, you'd probably draw blood. I'm not even kidding. They're actually...
Sounds reasonable.
It's a really cool design bullet. I'm really impressed with it.
So what's the advertised purpose for it?
For hunting.
Hunting. Yeah. Okay.
So basically what happens is once it hits liquid, it starts to tumble, and it's constantly creating cavity, as opposed to an expanding bullet. So once it hits, it dumps all of its energy instantly. This has over 90% bullet weight retention as it's tumbling.
Gotcha.
So
But
if
they
you
are
look at
designed
some
to
of the,
tumble as soon as they hit something.
they are designed to tumble, and you look at some of the pictures that have been put out there, there's some pretty gnarly hits on animals with these things. It just liquefies the inside of them.
Interesting. What else we got? I think we're probably running out of time. We're almost an hour over regular showtime.
Yeah. Actually, why not? Let's bring up some of the stuff we did bring back. I actually bought a first time tourniquet.
Yeah.
A cat tourniquet from S&J Hardware. A legit one. That one's from C. Tom's. So
Nice.
we know it's good. So tourniquet and pouch, because it's kind of a common thing to have now. Good to have. Some gauze there too for the first aid kit, just lighter stuff to take back. From the patch panel, we were given this demo piece, and what it is it's basically a whiteboard, but with a flexible Velcro backing. So you can basically write whatever you want on it. Might put some Velcro on the wrist of the shirt and use it as a dry erase style dope card. Try that out. Of course, a number of stickers too.
That's
Our
from
friends
Canuck.
at Canuck.
Don't throw it on Goose.
Yes. Ne
I like
marche.
Ne marche pas sur moi.
Yeah, whatever that means. Probably the same thing. And that's the major things I brought back because, again, we were flying. A sticker draw for the SFRC for winning a 338 La Prua FC.
Cool.
And then, and that's other than that, demo business cards, but that's kind of what I hold back. So
what'd you haul back, Mike?
I don't have them with me because I have them in other place, but we bumped into a YouTuber by the name of Canadian Operator. Some of you may have heard of him. Actually, we bumped into a few people in the
I might have seen that guy's videos somewhere.
Yeah, they're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he's doing some 3D printed stuff. Like there's the Magpul, the angled foregrip one.
Mm-hmm.
He had a version of that where if you have big hands on a small, sometimes that's too much. So it's a bigger grip so that you can actually grip your gun properly. Like it's thicker physically.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then he had a grip. And then he had a SKS charging clip for 5 rounds instead of like a stripper clip. It was a 3D printed, you can preload them and you just take them out like a magazine and drop in your 5 rounds of 7.62. So he gave them to me. I didn't like expect him to. He's just, oh, here, take these. So kudos to him. So I'm going to go review some of those and play with them because that's awesome.
Cool.
Well, so we saw Epic Arms there. He was fun to hang out with for a bit.
Alex, yep.
Alex, great guy. Who else did we talk to? There's a number. We met a lot of people there.
We met a lot of people, but
okay,
that about covers it.
Yuka Kaze says, "Vendu une conversation est français." Non,
n'est pas parler français, monsieur.
Tabernacle, baguette, pamplemousse.
Fuck that.
Moi, François, c'est merde. Which means my French is shit.
We're not doing a bilingual show. I'm sorry.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Where's Jens?
Where is Jens?
I got a short video we could play, and by short it's not that short, but it can give you a rough idea of what we saw.
Can I be honest with you? Can we save it for next week?
Sure.
I guess we could, yeah.
Not to raid on your parade, but we're hitting that 2.5 hour mark, and it's
didn't go didn't go to 14 tangents. We could have got to it.
We did go on 14 tangents, and so we are out of fucking time. So regardless, real quick knife plug, guys. As you might know, traveling to create content can be pretty expensive. A little industry secret, YouTube doesn't pay that much. From flights to accommodations, not to mention food, beer, and heroin isn't getting any less expensive. All the other costs to run the show, it all adds up. So if you've been looking for a way to support the channel directly, so we can keep bringing you location coverage like TACCOM or SHOT Show, head over to storydknives.com or cdnprecision.com. That's run by Alex Richards at Epic Arms. Not only are you going to be picking up a kick-ass knife that will last you a lifetime, but you're helping the show directly. So again, if you guys would like to pick up a knife, that is storyknives.com, or you can get them at cdnprecision.com. I recommend, especially if you are out east, go to cdnprecision.com, save on some shipping. They will ship out of Ontario for you. That's about it.
I think we covered a big chunk.
Mm-hmm.
We did cover a massive amount. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'll finish up then. Please check out the show, guys, at facebook.com/BS podcast. Website is bspodcast.ca. You can find the Banyak boys at Banyak Precision on Instagram. You can email us at the show, info@bspodcast.ca. If you'd like to email the Banyak boys directly, it is Banyak, BANYAK, at bspodcast.ca. And as always, a massive thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show in the first place. We're talking about Shane and Steve, Miles, Carrie and Cappy, Duncan and Rob, Phil Odell, Doug Niza, Vanya and Carly, Oscar with Ribstone Gunsmithing, and J.R. Cox. Thank you all an immeasurable amount. Join us next week. Go ahead.
Can we do quick shout outs quick?
Yeah, do it.
Shout out to Adam and all the Fort Scott people that we all hung out with all weekend. It was great. Shout out to JR for letting us take so much time to talk with him and get a good interview.
Sweet.
Yep. Shout out to Mike for being a super editor, because my laptop died before. So Mike drank beer and edited very quickly. So shout out to him and everybody that made the TACCOM experience great.
And shout out to Fred for putting on TACCOM too.
Yeah. And if you guys liked the video from live shows like this, I mean, just wait until we're at SHOT Show in January, and we'll bring you more of that from Las Vegas. So that's going to be fun. Good luck to everybody shooting day 2 of the King of 2 Miles tomorrow, including Jens and Shane and Steve at EM Precision Rifles. And who else do we know that's competing there? Rob Frerick is competing, I believe.
Mikey Friesen, I think, is there.
Mikey's there. Okay, perfect. Mikey Friesen. Also Team EM Precision.
Well, there's King of 2-2, but there's also the International Precision Rifle competition in Colorado happening at the same time. Worlds.
In Colorado.
Colorado. So it'll be day 2 in Colorado tomorrow.
But good luck, Team Canada.
Good luck, Team Canada. We're all rooting for you. So.
And congratulations to who we all know who's going to win. I'm not going to say their name, but jinx it, but we all know who it is.
Me.
Chris. Right. All right.
All right, everybody. We will see you all next week. In the meantime, don't do anything we wouldn't do. Don't worry. It's a pretty short list. And we will see you all next week.
But some of these bullets, as you saw, have an incendiary device on the tip of it, which is a heat-seeking device.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome to your weekly dose of BS, the Ballistically Speaking podcast.